This conference will now be recorded.
I think we're good. Corey's got. All right, so we're gonna start with the questions that we had on other purchase services from general fund.
The wire transfer. Vicki, this is for last fiscal year.
Yeah.
Not this fiscal year. Okay, that's fine. So it ends June 30. Correct. So what is that credit for 9/22, 6,911.02? Last page, correct expenditure code. Oh, you're on this one. Sorry, I guess I'm on the detailed ledger query.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to look that up because I can't tell you. Let me go look up the journal voucher.
So mostly, I guess we didn't ask in administration. In administration, other purchase services.
And what does gas standard mean? Is that gas?
Where are you at?
Bottom of
Very
the
last
page.
page, $200, 269.37. Because wouldn't that be out of a different fund? Or like, is that a line item for gas?
Ask Ginger about that one. I know fuel is always on the card, on Chase Card Services. And if that was different because it was for training or something?
Who uses the gym?
Membership, Matt does.
John doesn't though?
No. Yeah, he has a gym in his home.
In his home?
Mhm.
Matt can't just use that then? Or should it? I mean, like, it could be moved to a central location.
It's in John's home?
Yes.
Has it been discussed moving it to a central location?
Mhm. There's a whole plan for out in the bay, but it's currently occupado.
I guess I'm just wondering about like the oil and filter and the gas, because isn't there a separate line item for that for the? Like in the budget?
For repair and maintenance.
Yeah.
It is, and I don't know why it was under other purchase services.
And then dispatch, is that the same price we're to pay this year?
No,
Is it more or less?
more.
Where is that at?
Second page, 6,911.02.
And that is,
That's the same number. What? Oh. Oh, yeah. So it's being corrected. So Tina just brought to my attention the credit for 6,911.02 is the same charge, or like same exact amount as dispatch service. So it looks like it's a wash. We did pay it, right?
We did.
It's all right, don't worry about it.
Let's see what Ginger brings back. Correct expenditure code. So it went to a different code because it shouldn't have been there. It should have been. That's what that means. It shouldn't have been in other purchase services. It should have been in contract services. So that's a correction was made before.
Antivirus, do you have to pay that for each separate computer?
Is that mine?
No.
Okay, because by the yearly subscription,
Yeah.
there's 9 or something.
9 computers. Yeah. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charges under IT for antivirus. Which is $152 a pop. One's only 75.
Ginger
Also,
doesn't
wasn't
waste-
Starlink in a different line item?
That's split amongst multiple departments. Maybe it wasn't. The price was significantly different. Haven't had one yet. When there were several other ones, so. And that's been almost 2 years.
I don't think I was.
So these are monthly unless they're noted as annual, correct? Like remote walk annual,
Yes.
that would be an annual, but down here, night vision lease,
Where are you at? Are you still on?
page 2 of 3, detail ledger.
Okay.
$300, is that a month?
No, that's an annual.
And we, so we
That's right.
own that, but we
No,
have
it's
to
a-
lease the, or we have to pay for software? What is that?
An annual lease of the equipment.
For $300?
Yes.
Or does this like monitor outbuildings or something at night?
No,
No,
It's
for the
equipment.
car.
It's in the car.
EPD is out at night, they can have things pursuing a suspect.
we figured it out, Ginger.
Yeah. 'Cause it's right here.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, it's the,
Here and here.
yeah,
So
that's-
it's just changing an object to a payment. I coded it under 390 and it should have been 398.
Okay.
So that's what the journal voucher does. Is
Okay.
it just corrects the coding.
Okay. So, and I was asking, swear, but, so these are, this is an annual?
Yes.
Some of them are noted. Is that weird that we would have night vision when we don't have nighttime cops?
They can respond at night. And what is nighttime in October or December in Ennis, Montana? What time does night start?
5 o'clock.
What time does it get dark in January? All right, do we want to start at the beginning of other purchased services? Or we Do you need one, Karen? Do you want one?
Okay, I think that's your.
They weren't on there. All right, so this was our basing this year's budget off of last year's numbers and other purchase services, okay? So in general, under administration, any questions there?
American legal.
American Legal is our codifiers.
And that's for the ordinances that we get changed.
Yes, correct.
Does each department have to pay for Black Mountain?
Yes,
Yes.
it's broke out.
Ginger, and I don't know if we have that answered. Do you still have Dropbox now, or are we
No. got
So we were-
Dropbox.
got rid of that one?
I think we, on last month's payments, we made the final payment to Dropbox.
Yeah, I don't know, something happened on my computer and it didn't cancel, so they did add that 150 charge to it. It was supposed to cancel and never went through, and now it's taken care of though.
Okay,
I know that.
that's gone.
So Maria gets paid out of two separate departments?
Yes,
Three.
Has it always been like that?
yes.
Ennis and Associates?
Auditors, well, this is
Auditors and year-end reports.
arts. Any other under administration? Okay, into the financial services.
All this petty cash, should that be like lumped into something?
That's bank service charges monthly on the petty cash account.
And why do we, sorry, probably a stupid question, why do we pay the auditors out of two?
They're paid out of multiple accounts.
Oh.
Because they touch every department and different accounts in the town. When they're auditing.
All right. Anything else under financial? Okay, general. Pretty much same thing.
And these are annual for Black Mountain in each of these different?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Seems like a lot, but that's what every other town uses, municipality uses.
One of the strongest
Friendly.
accounting softwares.
All right, and then into facility. Pretty cut and dry there.
What's the fire protection?
That should be the annual, yeah, annual fire extinguisher. You got it.
Just in this one.
Inspection. All right, IT.
It's just to clarify again, the antivirus are all for separate computers.
I know we run different programs on, depending on what they require.
Okay. But you have one that lumps all your computers into one?
I do, but.
She-
Might be different. I don't know if we're comparing apples to apples here. I run one that works well with a firewall, and then it works well with just crap that comes in. You know, when people download things.
Okay.
And I find it easy to work with.
What, and
Yeah, it's guy, I'm good.
and this IT, John manages all of this
Yes,
in his after hours. Is that
Yes.
right? And he's trained IT? Is he like certified? Is he just, like, is this his hobby? What is this?
I have dealt with many IT guys. This is the one that actually does a good job. Many throughout every job I've had.
So, Norris and Amerily did an audit back in 2000. I believe. And, they never got the opportunity to present their audit findings.
What is COVID?
There was a change of the guard at that time, so it was under Blake that the audit was done. And then it was just, the agenda item has not come up.
An audit for what again?
For IT services, as far as, you know, what was needed, what they think they can provide. Morrison Merrill provides IT services for a lot of counties, sheriff's departments, stuff like that. They contract it out. So he was just basically gonna give a bid for it, so see what it would take to contract it as being in-house.
all right.
And then, sorry, Ginger, the Starlink,
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say, you know, I might be interested in that one option again someday. I do all of the libraries IT, and then I have a budget item for things that are out of my wheelhouse. You know, if it were something that covered the whole town, that might be beneficial and
Okay.
at the same time.
Hey, Nikki, can you hear me?
Yes,
So, I have a question on what you said about Maria being paid out of 3 different funds.
who's
I'm
speaking?
sorry.
Susie?
Susie. Yes,
It took me that long to, she kept muting me. Anyways, I thought she was paid through claims, so how can she be 3 different funds?
these are other purchase services. So it's broke down amongst those departments, other purchase services. Does that make sense?
Not really, sorry.
It's kind of like, trying to figure out another one that makes the same sense.
So if we had somebody work on the roads and you paid it out of claims, you would take it out of the road department? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So-
Contract services.
Okay.
So it's based
Okay.
on what she's doing, out of this, whether it be for, or this, or that.
So the admin portion of it is that she's taking minutes, doing minutes, she's doing
Thank you.
admin things,
Answering them.
and then water and sewer. It's the primary.
Ginger, I can't find what I was looking at, or like our paperwork from the last meeting, but wasn't Starlink under a different line item?
It could have been, it could have changed, but I wouldn't think so. And I don't code those keys, so
a line item, it should be duplicated, right?
No, it's not, it wouldn't be its own line item. It's gonna be like, again, another purchase service or under other purchase services.
Well, I brought it up at the last meeting because it was a line item on the general fund budget.
Starlink itself.
Pretty sure.
Not to my recollection.
Under IT.
That's the only place that we got it.
I think it would stand out. Okay.
The only question you asked was when you came in to do claims. That was the
Oh,
first time you'd asked about that.
Okay. So. I guess we're gonna get clarification if we really do need to pay that much for antivirus for each computer.
Okay.
I'm guessing, I don't really know, but I'm guessing it's got a lot to do with these two computers here mainly.
Not one of those ones in the cars.
Yeah. Those are a whole different kind of system. I don't know.
The court system.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, we're a government system too, so
Yep.
we've got to have a stronger antivirus.
Is that information managed here, or is it managed through the state somewhere?
What information?
All this information you're trying to put down. The court
I mean, is there
information
like
and
a
the-
server here type
Is
of
there
thing? Is that
something
what you're
here,
asking?
like ours is managed in Helena, I just wondered if this information is in-house on site, or if it's managed somewhere else.
I would have to ask.
Here and then backup is somewhere else. It's not in this building.
I think we have.
We do, and it's not on this site. So that we're backed up should something else happen here.
How long it backs up? Is it automatic?
I think it's automatic.
I think that's all I have for IT.
All right, law enforcement, other purchases. Yes? Okay. Where's the hand? Oh, there's a hand. Now I get it.
I'm sorry, that was on from before. I'll turn it off. I don't need anything. Thank you.
Okay. All right, other purchase services for law enforcement.
I guess just another clarification for antivirus claims.
Okay.
Yeah, it does seem like both. And the gym membership, is there like a ETA when, is there, like when the hospital's done with the?
Their lease is currently up. Now they're on a month to month. So at any point, we could ask them to vacate. I just don't know where you would house two diesel vehicles. I mean, you could leave that up to them, but
And we're allowed to lease it and.
we actually passed ordinance January.
Oh, I remember that.
That was one of our first things
Okay.
to uphold the original part of that was done.
I think there's really nowhere else for them to go.
I don't know where other heated garages are.
So I have a question on,
They built
oil and filter and gas standard. There's line items for those, so why are they in other purchase services? Gas, oil, diesel, fuel. It also has an increase.
Ginger, do you know why we would have done that?
I do not.
That and let me go back to this.
I marked it. If you're using the two,
Yeah.
Did you change his oil at any time? That would be other purchase services.
No, because it's on the card. It's on Chase Card System Services. But you're right. It would be.
Radar, what is radar certification? Is that
The radar has to be inspected and recertified annually. Annually.
somebody come here and do that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's too low.
Tactical law officer. Just kidding.
Probably could get, but it looks like we paid every month, $75. And TLO investigative tools, $75.
Other purchase services, so I'm betting that's an information of some sort.
I think that might be CJ.
I thought Seagen separate, I thought.
So just a question, why is he not here tonight to ask these questions?
He's at the varsity game.
For what reason?
The school asked under his contract for him to be at the varsity game.
7, I'd like to get there, actually.
So, what's that?
So you have 14.
Yeah, let's go to Karen. We can come back to this. No. If it's varsity game,
I'd love to go now.
yes. Let's do Karen's. You want to go to game. Where's my new Karen packet? This is old Karen packet.
I didn't, yeah, go ahead.
No,
and ask
no,
your
no,
question.
no, no,
I just
you're good.
interrupt. So I've given you my itemized budget, so you can see exactly what I'm spending money on, and I can explain the rest of the paperwork that I give you in a moment. Would you like me just to go through each item, each line item? Okay, I will.
Yes, yes. We're like, yes, would you like us to? Yes,
Okay.
yes would be the
Okay.
answer. Thank you.
Okay, you can see, salary and wages, our hourly wages. I've had an employee resign effective at the end of the month, so we will be hiring someone else. I have someone coming on intermittently until we figure out how to piece things together, what our plan is. So, that's salary. Compensated absence. Ginger, I noticed that on the actual budget spreadsheet, it's more than 12,000 by some change. If you use $12,085, I mean, if you need to make that exact, change it.
Karen, a lot of that is I write notes for myself.
Okay. So moving down the line, employer contribution, it's 10% of salary and wages. Office supplies, you can see exactly what I have budgeted for each of these items. Laminate, DOS paper, that's receipt paper, label sheets, book covering, DVD and audio cases, audio sleeves, ink, and postage. Small items of equipment. I have one POS printer that's actually working right now, so I have 3 budgeted, 2 office chairs, and then, so these people counters, this is a little more expensive than the last version because this has a video option. So we use people counters for both data and to monitor when people are in the building. This one, the video option actually gives us a security option just to take a look and see who's going in and out of the building. We've actually had some minor theft from the front of the building, so that would help us a lot. And then the public computers, 5 PCs and 3 backups at $10,000. 2,500 of that is coming out of this year's budget. 7,500 of that is from previous years. And our computers were last replaced in 2018. We've eked them out this far, but we need to do it this year. Publications, 300, telephone and internet, $1,500. I write a grant for 60% of the total, so that's 40% of what we actually are billed. Professional services. So Montana Shared Catalog is a consortium of most Montana libraries. So they manage our data. It's on a server in Helena. So all we have on our computers is just the software. Everything is stored in Helena. And they also give us service support and training. So we pay $3,200 to go into that each year. OCLC is our software and service. It's our book and serial finder and catalogs how we catalog our books. It's $800 a year. World Book and Tumble Books, it's an e-resource primarily for young adults and children. And Overdrive is our audio and ebook lease program. Any questions so far? Okay. Training services, I upped this significantly this year. Usually we can afford to send one person to training, but this year I'd like to give everybody an opportunity. I just went to a workshop in Great Falls. And I've also put a spring workshop in Billings for rooms, meals, and registration. And I've included mileage as a separate item, one for Great Falls and one for 2 people in Billings. We'll try to reduce that if we can. Our other purchase services, a domain for 2 years. I have a calendar function that the community uses to look at our calendar and then reserve. This IT cost, like I said, is I handle most of our IT. This is for something that's out of my wheelhouse that I cannot figure out. And usually there's something every year. I have something local that helps me do that. I use a Viper antivirus. It's easy for me to use and it allows me to set the policy, what comes in, what I can allow on computers. I find it pretty friendly to use. Black Mountain and Montana Air Cartage. Sometimes that shipping company can be less expensive than UPS or, when I say UPS or the post office. Because sometimes we send crates. We share resource crates with other libraries around the state, and it can be cheaper to send that with a cartage than to ship it. Insurance. So if you flip that over, so we can go to facilities.
Do you recall off the top of your head if your insurance, how much did it increase, do you think?
I can look on here. So liability increased 5%, and our facilities increased 18%.
And Nikki, that comes straight from MMIA for liability and property insurance.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Liability is based on
Wages. So the 5% increase. 4 times with 5% increase wages.
Which, if you wanted, here,
Is it-
there's a 3% increase if you wanted to pick one. Okay, facilities, I tripled the restroom supplies. We've already blown through our public restroom supplies I budgeted for the first quarter. So I bulked that up. Furnace filters for our system are 300. Everything with an asterisk is a one-time. Everything with an asterisk is a one-time purchase. Our towel dispensers need replacing. I can go into detail if you like, they're just towel dispensers. It seems like an extraordinary amount. However, that's for, the sensor kind. It will save us money in the long run by changing. 2,500 is for electric, plumbing, and heating issues throughout the year. I have vacuum times 2 on here. This is something I'd like to try. So every year we spend a minimum of $5,600 vacuuming the building, one person vacuuming. I'd like to buy actually 2 Makita Robo vacuums so we can turn them loose at night to try to work that cost down. And so our staff can do library work instead of cleaning work. Our fire panel, we've talked about this last year, it needs a replacement. That's estimated at about $1,200. Right now, we've been without a drinking fountain. I've had requests for a water bottle filler, and that is for that. And also, our men's bathroom has been closed most of the fall. The urinal is now replaced, and now I'm looking for it to replace the toilet that's leaking also. It's actually cracked on a lot of it, which is why we couldn't fix the leak, because it was cracked. Electric utility, I think last year it cost us $8,000 on a cold winter. It can go up to 10. So I put in 11 for the increase that's coming from Northwestern Energy. Repair and maintenance services. 1 carpet cleaning from Smithson. Electric, plumbing, and heating services. The labor to put in the fire panel and the labor to put in the water bottle filler. There's insurance and the special assessment, I think, is standard each year.
I'm gonna check on that because I don't know, we didn't get a bill on that last year, I don't believe, Karen. So I don't know if they're gonna continue to do that or not, but I will call the owner of that ditch and find out.
Okay. Excuse me. So our total projected expenses is totaled right there. And I have, so in red, sometimes we hire, that stands for Friends of the Library, sometimes we hire a student intern for the summer, and that's where that money would come from. It's also listed on salaries. So to achieve this budget, with our 6 voted mills from the town and our half voted mill from the county, and using approximately $14,000 of our cash reserve to equal approximately $238,000.
How much does that leave in your cash reserve? Do you know?
28. 38. Any questions on expenses?
Does this include books?
No, our books, this includes the lease for electronic books, and that is actually, part of that is paid for by the state of Montana. Through on the back, you can see state of Montana, I get $500, and Broad Valleys Federation, which is from coal excise tax. Part of that I'm required to spend on electronic books. But our physical books, our physical collections are all bought from donations from the Women's Club and grants that I write. Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, just to maintain your operating budget, that would not include books. You have to get a donation from the Friends of the Library and dip into your savings.
Correct.
That does, and then I don't have last year's revenue.
I don't know, I didn't bring those numbers.
So this doesn't include, because isn't there usually 6 mills, voted mills, the half mill from the county, and then there's usually an allocation from the general fund? Should that be in place for the front of the library and the cash reserves?
That part is not up to me, that's part that the mayor's call, the council and the commissioner's call. On,
seems as though the time the library contributes by actually getting books in the library. And I know you're great at it, because someone just said that their kid liked the series so much he ordered it for them to read.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a question for the mayor as to why you're having them dip into their cash reserves and committing their funds in the library when, you know.
So even without this, before this budget, if you looked at previous budgets presented to me, those numbers were exactly the same, except for into the cash reserve itself. Now, in other areas, there was no budget item lines that are pretty much required for a town to operate. There was nothing in signs. We went over that. There was nothing in public works for repair or maintenance. There was nothing in public works for capital improvement for replacement of any piece of equipment. There was nothing in sidewalks.
For water and sewer, that would fall under their enterprise funds, correct?
If it was water and sewer we were talking about, but public works is the other stuff as well. So somehow we have a 1967 galleon grader that has never been planned for replacement. 1967 galleon grader. And not once has there ever been a plan to replace that piece of equipment. There was never a plan to replace a 1976, what year was the snowplow? 76? 67 is the galleon. Snowplow, 1 ton,
69.
2-wheel drive. That was our plan, was no plan. We have to start planning for some of the things that we need emergency routes to be able to be cleared.
So start planning is different though than taking anything that they may have been eligible for.
Yeah.
I guess is that what we're saying? We're taking from the library to plan for, yeah, this equipment. Is that right? Is that how I understand?
There was,
Redistribution, I think is a good word.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
There was redistribution, sorry. Sometimes I'll,
Yeah, if I can just keep going forward, I don't mean to interrupt anything, it's a personnel. Yeah, I'd like to skin out of here tonight. So it's just
All right.
personnel. So just the rest of the paperwork that I've given you, I'm not going to shove this down anybody's throat tonight. In fact, it's not my intention at all. There's just an opportunity to give to you. What I've given you is the interlocal agreement for the county mill. What I've given you is Montana code annotated for libraries. None of these are my highlights. It's from classes I have attended previously. It's all very good information, and I would like the opportunity to talk with you. I don't want to place extra pressure on you tonight when you were crunched for time with the budget. However, again, I would like the opportunity to talk about all of this with you. Libraries are kind of unique in their funding, and this explains a bit of it. The other thing that I've given you is this piece of paper that has several things on it. And if you would take the time to read it, that would be fantastic. So it explains our revenue sources, Madison County, the town of Ennis, the state of Montana, and grants and donations. I've got all of those broken down for you. And I also have a section on how the community benefits from these funds. I completely understand that there are must funds and may funds within the town budget. I see may funds. I mean, there's a lot of must funds here, but I see a few may funds. And the fact that our general mills have been completely taken away says to me that, and those may funds, let me go back just a little bit, those may funds are really value-based, what you value and what you think needs to be funded,
not have to fund, but what you think needs to be funded. So the fact that we have no May fund money tells me that I haven't properly relayed our library's value to the community, to you, and I would like the opportunity in the future to do that. In fact, I look forward to that, especially when it comes to the areas of public safety, economic development, quality of life, and community engagement, which I think are very important for a municipality. Also, you'll see on this sheet a mill look back for previous years that I've given you, just to give you an idea of how mills have been distributed in the past. And this is also just a topic for a future conversation, is how I make decisions for the library. They are not by chance, and they are not random. I keep these two little cartoons on my desk at all times. One is a strategic triangle to remind me how to create the most public value with our taxpayers' funds. You might recognize it, Moore's triangle. That's probably ancient to you. But anyway, and the second, this little funky little diagram is my roadmap of how we get there. And so I'd love to talk with you about this sometime. I think that the town could really benefit from a landscape view when it's time for budget rather than a departmental view. I think that would benefit all of our taxpayers. For this fiscal year, I stand by my comments that I made last meeting, that I don't think this is a great precedent at all. But in the future, it would be great to be involved in a conversation that started before now, so we can all understand and move money to the benefit of the whole town. The library's needs at this moment, at its most basic, are met. It's always nice to go beyond the basic needs, but right now we're able to turn the lights on and pay our employees, which is nice. If there were extra funds, I would take care of deferred maintenance that have been ongoing in the building that was constructed in 2009. And lastly, I would just like to ask, in the future, from now forward, because every decision that's made, let's just take an example of hiring an employee, that has a trickle-down effect on every department. If something happens in one department, most likely it affects the general fund and it affects all departments. I'm asking that the commission take those decisions. You know, if we make a decision that's going to affect other departments, that we can at least have a conversation about it. That's it. Do you have any questions for me? Would you like me to stay, or is it okay if I take off?
Go to the game.
I love how everything is completely broken down, walking through, like, if you weren't here today, we could probably look at this and figure out exactly what your needs are. Thank you for all this.
Yep. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Do you want to dish up some food? There's food if you want.
After it.
And then we'll go over the enterprise funds, and then we can go back and fix what we need to fix. Hack through what we need to hack through. You know what I mean?
Thanks for the dinner anyway.
You're welcome. Sound like a plan? So a dish up break, bathroom break, coffee break. All right, 15 minutes. You guys, there's like lots, so I didn't poison it. I didn't even cook it. My awesome roommate cooked dinner for us.
Harold had found them. Oh, nice. I brought this stuff home and she made all of it.
All right. Find more money.
So.
Well, I'm curious to know what the. If, I guess my question to you, if there is no, if I'm understanding correctly, there's not current MOU with the county for law enforcement services that has expired, is that true?
Mhm.
Okay, so without a current MOU, do we know what the cost of dispatch services will be?
I think there's $8,500 or $8,600 allocated.
Okay,
Towards
but
that.
what is the current MOU? I guess my question is, really, and it should be to the greater thing. From my understanding of the MOU presented by the sheriff, it's one or the other. If the sheriff's department can provide law enforcement services for less than the amounts here, which we don't know what it'll be, because to my understanding, the sheriff's department will charge by the hour, so that's kind of an unknown. If that proposal from the county comes in less than what is protected here, or presented here, excuse me, will you commit to contracting with the county? I know you probably can't answer that right now, but I mean, that's my question.
Sure.
Being that if the two choices are a set rate and this unknown, it's my understanding, you know, it would be dispatch, it would be all the other things that are being billed out per hour, and if we don't have a good understanding of how much that's gonna be, which would significantly add to this proposed budget, I mean, I don't think $8,900 is gonna cover it. So if it's gonna be a significant difference, is that something?
Yeah, no, you have to look at Three Forks, for example. I think spends 350,000. I think it's actually less than that, like 330 a year for full coverage for a town of 2,000 people. And then you have.
But you don't know that number from the county yet, right?
I don't, no.
So, but that's my question. So regardless of what it is, like if it does come in lower, the actual cost, I mean, this doesn't take into account the liability. If it is a savings for the taxpayers.
Oh, is my copy?
Yeah, you would have to evaluate.
Or do I
also,
have notes all over
the
mine
other
too?
thing that Three Forks has to do is have a code enforcement officer, so that's.
Can you pass the budget?
What's that?
Can you pass the budget?
I think it's a pretty big wild card in your budget. So when I was there, how many hours? For law enforcement services.
Rely on the county.
And I don't think they just rely, I think they contract.
Yeah, I actually don't know that.
Similar to Cascade, Bell, Superior, Joliet. And a lot of them, I think in Joliet, what they did was their police officers then had the opportunity to become deputies. And that was the criteria. So it seems as though. No problem for some of the people. So. So there was a time, so it changed. So there was a time that did pay with the county, say it was like, like $43,000, $50,000 a year. And then there was pressure not to, for the town not to have to, pay because Sheridan didn't pay, those basically felt like kind of singled out. So Roger Thompson at the time said, oh, you know, since Sheridan's not paying, since I'm paying.
He did away with the whole thing.
We won't pay except for special things, you know, that you need backup for. Like, you know, they would do the 4th of July without charge, but if there was something else that called them in for, it was
Right,
so
but
now
that-
every town's the same. So now, I
Is
think
that-
that,
I don't think so.
I think they do contract with them.
I guess nothing is wrong with these questions asked.
They
So
were,
we're just going.
I mean, they were, but not this year, I don't think. We couldn't even have a conversation about it, because once you ask questions.
I don't know right now. We don't have a conversation.
They're on their dinner break. It's fair.
No, we're talking about.
I just harassed Corey, so we couldn't eat his lasagna.
I was talking about the town's department.
Say again, sorry.
We're talking about the town sheriff's department. Not
Thanks, thank you.
these city.
like,
Like, or in the sheriff. No, I think that definitely needs to happen.
Absolutely.
What's new?
Because you can't.
Have
share
a
anything.
bike race going down on Saturday over in Virginia City.
Oh, nice.
So
I love
the
this
highlight-
garlic bread.
Is it pretty crowded? I mean, you
I
get a lot
don't
of entries.
know.
uh,
I'm gonna go to sleep after this, so.
55
Maybe.
people at this point, which is
Seems like pretty
50 was our goal. So
So you start and end at DC?
yeah, it's a lollipop shape. So you take off from Virginia City and up Browns Gulch, Williams Creek, Upper Ruby, go past the reservoir, and then I want to call it Gold Creek, which might be wrong. But that's the lollipop portion. You come down Ledford, Rock Creek, and
Where's
Ledford
the wine?
Creek. And then, yeah, that's the lollipop portion. So there's 3 races. There's a 12 miler, which will go overlooking Nevada City, and then so it's 6.5 miles up, and then back, and then a 40 miler, which is basically to the let me think here, whatever that road is that goes to I can't think of the name of it. The road that goes to Dillon.
Not Dylan, is that the sign, the one that has the sign, not the road to Dylan?
It's the one, maybe that is, no, I think it's just past that. No, you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, what's it called though? Why can't I think of it?
No, that's something else. I don't know what that one is.
Yeah,
Not
but
the road to Dylan.
it definitely goes to Dillon. So we just go up that for like 5 miles and then turn off on a really small dual track road. So this weather's not making it very easy.
Sure.
So
So there's multiple races, or they one after the other kind of thing?
mhm.
So
Yeah.
you go from one to the other? One to the
No,
other? Like a break?
the 85 miler will start first thing 7:30 in the morning, and then I think 40 miler starts at 9:30. So 2 hours after, and then I'm honestly not sure what the best schedule is. So we have Aaron Leonard, who's the head of Virginia City Chamber, is heading the whole process. So.
I got the paper yesterday, I haven't looked at it. It's all detailed down in there, signs and stuff. But I didn't know there was a race.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely not, I don't know, kind of a last minute throw together, but we've been working on the course for 2 years. A year and a half, whatever. We're not actually on the best course. The Forest Service, which is Karen's husband, is the guy that have to convince that there's enough cyclists in the community to warrant giving us permission to use the Forest Service roads. So it's just bicycles.
So these 50 plus entries come from all over.
Yeah. Primarily. Probably a third of them.
So that would have.
These are mine, right? Did I
Yeah.
sprawl into
No.
your?
No,
This is why Corey and I aren't allowed to sit next to each other, because we sprawl.
I do the same thing when I end over there, but.
I get really big. Where Eric's like, I'm like, look at the space that I require.
Used to it. This is the size of my desk right here.
If it gets too big, I'll just.
I'm used to it.
I tell you, I get to move into the ambulance bay. I get to move into the ambulance bay. In the clutter pile is what he referred to it. But why? Because then when people want me, I'd have to come all the way down because you can't.
It's good exercise. 2 steps in for the day.
Do you know what's so good?
There's nowhere else to go, and I need an office.
You and I both. Real offices. Or at least, I just need a cubby hole, actually. And the closet's taken, or that's what I would do. We can well, no, we'll wait for Corey. Dish up. That's the chewiest bread ever if it sits in the bag. It's so chewy. It's like bread bubble gum. I think Corey's the only one that actually did salad. I'm like, He's healthy.
Didn't fit on my plate. Oh, a little bigger piece of bread.
There's 2 loaves, and let's face it, that's never as good the next day.
You're not eating, Aaron?
I'm gonna get hungry.
I understand. My cooking's not that great.
It's
Stouffer's.
not bad at all.
Stouffer's cooking isn't that great.
I had corn dog on the way here. That's all I ate today, so now I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't make it past town without corn dogs.
The other day, went to get the cracker and both solid. I was like, oh my gosh. Did you get it?
I already ate it, yeah. Well, I'll bring some more tomorrow. I brought about 10 pounds of smoked trout. Clean.
Did you make dip? Got dip?
It looked really good.
It's too much. chili with it too in the winter. Oh, this fixes chili. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, please.
It is about chilies.
Yum. Hunter's food next 2 weeks.
I need to sell raffle tickets. I've been a bad kid. My fire department raffle ticket thing is not, I think I've sold one. I'm a field kid. Usually I go hang out during the shed horn sale and find people I know, but I didn't. Because if you're going down to the shed horn sale, you're interested in buying a rifle raffle ticket. Not so much the art festival.
No.
But it does have like a fancy pattern on it. I don't know. I don't even know what it is this year. I haven't paid much attention. It's not good. It is.
It is. I'm tired of it. Because everybody I know has won a rifle. Everybody that went to.
Well, we
I've been
don't.
buying them since I'm 12. I've never won one.
We used to do whoever sold the winning ticket. We'd get a match pair of them at the fire department, whoever sold the winning ticket. So it was incentive to sell. So, but I won twice. And then, but the second time I was like, no, pick somebody else, picks it. 3 times in a row, it was me. And then it was Huey. So, no, then it was Greg. And then it was Huey. So it came to live at my house. All right. Are you good, Corey? We can eat and do stuff at the same time. Okay. So the last department to go through is water and sewer. Those are enterprise funds. So have nothing to do with general. And
You ready for this?
yeah. Which starts on page, where are we? We're on page 22. The big packet of expenditure. Yes. You want to share? You can share. I don't care.
21.
22. Are we there? Did you find it?
An expenditure?
Yes, on water first. On what we think we're gonna do this year. All right, ready? Eric, you want to walk us through it?
Yep. I'm just gonna skip down to 210, or I don't know where you guys are at on this, but I'm gonna drop down to office supplies and matter, start there, because salaries, wages, compensate, all that's pretty much the same. Or big. Office supplies and matter. Is that 3,000?
We used pretty much all of that last year.
Pretty much used all that last year, but this year, it's like my office needs help, so we're gonna pack some money away for that. Small items of equipment for the water administration is $1,000. That could be used for postage.
Is the next one. Small, that's where we bought, I think, no, that was sewer. Never mind. We bought test equipment out of that last year, I thought.
I did. I can remember.
So what is postage for like water bills?
I believe so, yeah.
Right, like postage.
Yes.
Yeah, water bills. We used extra postage. this
Oh, yeah.
year To.
The flyer I sent out.
Mail out.
Membership and registration,
We don't have anything.
there's nothing there because later on you'll see where that comes in. But on there, we didn't need to put anything on that one. Telephone, telegraph, 1,500.
Nothing this
Nothing
year.
this year.
Nothing.
Nothing. I mean,
We cut that one out when we went to the new phone system.
oh, I see. All right. Now
It's
I'm
in the
with you
other
guys.
one. It's
Now
on
I'm
the
with you guys. All right, telephone, nothing. Accounting, auditing, yeah, consultant services. I do use that from time to time, but there's nothing there on that line. We'll take care of that. Other areas, travel, $2,000. Traveling to and from training,
What
anything
about
like that.
furniture and office equipment? Yeah, furniture and office.
Right. So,
Because you're gonna get an office?
well, I would like some, you can go see my office and then,
No, I'm
Go
not questioning
ahead.
it, I'm just saying, that's obviously what that's for.
yeah, I definitely could use a desk that I can fit under, actually. And the bulk of that was going to be towards putting in an air conditioner, a heater out there. I probably burned up 3 or 4 of those cheap felt reviews of the year out there.
It used to be the dump.
That really doesn't seem like that much. $3,000.
Oh, what's gonna add up? You know, we got water and sewer put in here, so. You know what I mean?
A little bit from each one.
Right. And there's, so in the travel, that would be,
Administration is that samples too? Or no?
administration.
Water
It's
admin.
not samples. No.
No, that's on something else.
Was your other purchase services in this
No,
handout?
it wasn't something you mentioned last week, so I didn't do those. You
Okay.
wanna look at it?
Well, $20,000 is a lot.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Black Mountain's gonna be in there. A big chunk of it. Turn to page 2.
Turn to page 2. Sewer. You want those just in admin? Just in admin?
No, probably,
All of them?
yeah. Yes. Insurance went down.
Where are you at?
Insurance never goes. 510 under water.
Administration.
If it's based on wages,
There's just two. But you're always hoping to hire them.
no, we're at. I have to see which one that's for. 510. It's broken down into property and liability.
I guess for future reference, when we get to it, where's the like fixing of your trucks, vehicles, where's that going to be under? Transmission and distribution?
No, so like only parts of it. Their departments, it's portions of each one are gonna have to go. Like water can only pay X amount and sewer can only pay so much.
When it's a big fix like that, we'll split.
Between both departments.
And water and sewer from the state is only allowed to do so much towards vehicles. It's like, yes, we tear up a street to do a water line, but the repair of that can't come completely out of water and sewer
You have to repair the street with road money.
with road money. Mm-hmm.
And that's its own separate.
That's in general. These are just, water and sewer are just enterprise.
This is.
They are
This is the
standalone.
money water and sewer has.
So I
We
guess
have this money. Yes, I do pad other purchase services pretty high, but throughout the year, if I need to replace a meter or something like that, that was unexpected, we have that there.
If we need to call Great West End for something that,
They are padded well, yeah, but the money's there.
But, and so does that have to go through an audit or through a budget audit?
Mhm.
Yep.
Or a- what is that called?
Yeah, anything over a certain amount has to be bid out and all that. It's
no,
the same.
oh, as far as the audit itself, the annual audit,
No, like we have to vote on changing funds, appropriation of funds or something, right? Does that, if you move money within your departments, do we have to do a budget amendment? I'm sorry.
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
When you're moving it from any previous category.
Okay. But then like for the trucks that you kind of drive, is that 361 motor vehicle repair?
It is now, yeah.
It wasn't anything before?
Water and sewer maintenance handled that before.
Are you looking to hire another person? And is
Oh,
that
2 more.
2 more? And is that figured in?
Salary.
Minus the first quarter, right?
Right.
Yes. Because we're quite apparently don't have somebody for the first quarter.
So you and. No, I was just thinking because it's not that much of an increase. And last year, did you?
Yes,
We budgeted.
we budgeted for the
Okay.
2 more last year also.
Okay.
Just, we never got there. But we came close, but I don't, we had a couple times here for a minute.
We had moments of hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, these funds are not part of any taxed money. Does that make sense?
Say that again.
The water and sewer are not part of the mills obtained by
Right,
the
because
town.
they make money, it's a business. They make that money.
You could,
It's
yeah.
not a business, but.
If it is, it's not a great
Yeah.
business. It's not a super profitable one. Not when repairs are as expensive as they are.
So, the revenue that comes in from utility bills goes into the general fund checking account. Is that standard practice, or should it go into a checking account for the water and sewer income or revenue? If it's all supposed to be separate, all the utility bills are paid into the main fund checking account.
And all the bills for it are paid out of it too, out of that checking
Well, it
account,
shouldn't
but
be
not,
paid for out of its own account to, I mean, because then you're kind of slush funding the utility bill, utility income, right? If everything's paid out of that account, then the revenue.
it's still
I'm
itemized.
not sure if it's standard practice, it just crossed my mind that like all the revenue from utility bills goes into the same account that everyone's bills and expenses are paid out of. It's not kept separate at all. I don't know if that's, I mean, that seems confusing, right?
Yeah,
If it's
it makes
supposed to be
sense.
its own separate
Business.
business service.
It is.
Because then when Eric or Public Works decides to raise rates, we would see an increase in the cash flow in that account. Right. Charging more for water.
Right.
I find 2 cents supposed to be. So I guess
That, my question makes sense, like,
Nice.
everything's still categorized by numbers, so I don't see how,
the revenue.
I mean,
comes in.
the revenue comes, you still end up with revenue that you have to report in to, Yeah.
For water and sewer.
yes. Like if you have your revenue, your other packet, the last pages of it correlate to the expenditure portion of this. So you've got your revenues for water and sewer.
Okay. So the alert messages, is that a one-time fee?
That is,
Where are you?
I don't think that was utilized very often.
that's actually, that was,
206.55, fourth line down.
Did that not go away and we went with the?
that did go away.
County's
We're using the
service.
county's services now.
If we need to go with.
That was actually started up without approval or anything. It worked really well.
Please.
It was me.
It worked really well. Want to let me finish?
Don't try and throw that out there.
Are you gonna, did you
That-
just come here to be petty? Like I was
Oh, wait.
expecting this the whole time. And here we are.
Stop. Stop.
Can't
I
come to
authorized
harass.
that.
Nobody's harassing you.
It's not gonna work for multiple reasons.
I missed something entirely. What's not gonna work?
The system that we were working with, the text system.
It worked really well. I actually liked it, but there was a reason we couldn't keep using it, so it's gone. So we're not using it.
And as a resident, when you discontinue the service, you gotta let people know. That was.
That-
Did you ever sign up for it or
Yes,
just
I did. Yes, I did.
for Code Red or for ours?
For yours.
Probably one of the only ones. And we can't provide it unless you're signed up for it. So to take the time to manage the system that nobody signs up for. Yes, we can go back through and spend a whole bunch more time getting people to sign up, but it's just like Code Red. You don't do a Code Red. The county doesn't alert every single section. You have to specifically sign up for it. Or you are in violation of people, basically their information.
Well, how
So-
is the information dispersed?
Same ways it always was. Good old Facebook website. And that's where we're at. We have a giant reader board and
You can also
a
sign up.
sign.
You can also sign up with the county for the emails. That's our alerting message now.
It's not a budget item and we're done with the
That's
conversation.
what we are using. It was.
And we're done with it.
What are we talking about? The text we would get? Is that what we're talking
Yes,
about? Okay, we're not doing that anymore.
we're not.
Okay.
Other printouts. Did you do the printout for other purchased? Okay. You're buying it. Okay.
I guess web posting is gone also? Is that
Yes.
anything with Valley is gone?
No.
No. We use Valley and it's monthly.
And what that is for what, please?
That is like online posting. Brittany can probably tell you better than I can. She set it up. It's for like online payments.
Oh,
Credit card processing. That's what it was. So other purchase services, mostly Black Mountain, which is exactly what I was expecting there.
so I guess I have a question there. How could, am I missing Black I'm sorry to go back and forth, but why am I missing Black Mountain under police, other purchase services? Because every department should have a Black Mountain fee, correct?
I don't think the police use Black Mountain for anything.
For their payroll?
Yeah,
Do they?
and
I
I
don't
can
know.
break general fund down further.
Well, it just doesn't make sense to me why it's in his other purchase services, but not.
So the general, within the general fund, you've got Black Mountain Services being paid for.
It's like zoning doesn't have Black Mountain in it either, because the Black Mountain portion of zoning, as far as payroll services, comes out of, looks like it comes out of general. Does that make sense?
I would say the police department is probably more substantial part of the budget. So therefore.
One person, two people. same
Well,
thing.
also, but administration too, so how come they don't pay for, and that, I would think administration would be the majority of Black Mountain with payroll and that kind of financial services,
Financial services, payroll.
but I'm not seeing.
So, but I use financial services in water and sewer also. Man, I can, like I said, I can break it down further and charge every department.
Well, it just doesn't
But
make
the
sense
amount,
why they're
the
not.
bottom line amount in
Doesn't
general
change.
fund probably isn't gonna change.
I understand that, but shouldn't it be accounted for in the correct?
I mean, if that's how you guys want it.
Well, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it though? I mean, looking at how much everybody, like these Black Mountain funds for utility, water utility are ridiculous. 1,500, 1,100, 2,600.
Right, but they are charged for utility billing, the Black Mountain utility billing solely in water and sewer.
Are those different add-ons?
We have utility billing
Just curious.
software, we have financial software, we have payroll, we have budget prep. So.
Right, so payroll, budget prep, that should all be in accounting or in financial services, right? Administration or financial services.
But also budget prep I use throughout the entire budget.
But that's just all in the general fund.
I use it for every department, for every fund, every department, budget prep spreads across the reports.
So I guess, is it broken out though here underwater because it's substantial.
Yeah, well, and it's, yeah, I mean, you've got your UB, your finance, payroll. And then there's the second utility billing.
Well, because of the payroll services, that's substantial. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want it different, tell me how you want it.
Well, it would be nice to be able to look at it and see that it's broken down evenly between all departments. Maybe it doesn't matter, I don't know, but in my mind, that's would make sense to see where it's at. Yeah, so you cross-reference where it is on, yeah.
Okay.
How do you do that with like the library then?
With
I
the
mean-
library? Hers is 896.
She has
It's
it,
on
yeah,
there.
I saw.
Black Mountain, is
It's on
that
there.
just the,
896, it's on
it's just the payroll service?
That's finance payroll.
Okay.
Well, budget whatever comes in here too, I mean, it's. The only thing that we, I put with the utility bill.
All right, so we
Okay,
want
where
Black Mountain broken down into departments.
Well, does everybody else need that? I mean, it just makes sense in my brain for it, if it's on one, it should be on all. Maybe else, I don't know.
Well, I guess why isn't it? Why wouldn't it? Why isn't it? Why is it only broke out
I guess
for?
maybe just the way my brain works.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I didn't think of it, Tina, but
So Black Mountain broken into every. Every department.
So for future, when we do get what are we hiring, a clerk?
Yes.
It
Deputy.
won't have so many line items, correct? Or will it still be
Right.
in here? Like Maria's in here.
It will
a
be,
lot.
it will be not other purchase services at that point. Then it's back into payroll under all the different department, I mean, under water, sewer, and administration, and a little bit of PD budget. If
Are
there's
we close to
fingerprinting.
that? Maybe?
As close as we are to 2 spots that have been open since September of last year for him. All right,
So basically you're saying $2,630 for finance and payroll from Black Mountain will get divvied up between all of the other services.
Corey, I'll go back to what Black Mountain sent me as to what our bill is going to be. And then I'll just have to just break it down further.
Okay, because Black Mountain does not show up, is that what they're
Oh.
saying? It does not show up on any of the,
Other purchase services for other departments. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
It's not.
So this is why it's $20,000. I'm guessing
What is?
the budget.
for other purchase services.
Is $20,000. Where did that went?
And Graham drilling was for one of the wells, is that right?
Yeah, that,
And
actually, hold on, That was for the replacement motor, pump and motor.
Which line item?
The,
Page 204, water utility.
it's shop. That way we have
Oh.
a replacement pump waiting for
A backup pump.
a failure
Okay.
in case you need it.
Never again without one.
Because they're going up. Those pumps are getting expensive. They went up $4,000 from last year.
And then they had to come dive again, isn't that right?
They dove twice this year. Both times fixing leaks on the tank. And one time for the inspection and a
But they're not
fix.
both on here, are they?
No.
No.
So it's
That was, so my year,
the second time.
yeah, the second time's not on there, no. They were here a month ago.
That was one of the claims from last month was
Okay.
the divers
Yeah.
resealing that tank again.
Signs for Main Street water.
Which one are you looking at?
Oh, sorry, I'm on page 2 under transmission and distribution.
Or that's what we had to have them bring them.
Oh, yes, so when we did the repairs downtown,
Oh,
the
like the stoplight.
the state
and all that.
requires you to have the stop signs or stoplights if you're breaking it down to one lane on the highway.
Okay.
And that was that cost. That was, they actually cut us a big break on that.
I was gonna say, it seemed like you had a lot of.
They actually
expenses.
cut us a big break on that one. So
But you had enough money in your whole budget to fix everything you needed to fix this year.
it's fixed.
Yeah. Can I ask a stupid question?
Yes.
Are taxes being taken out of Maria's?
No, not as contract. Contractors have to pay their own taxes.
1099.
Whoa,
And the future
she knows her.
applicant will be paid about the same. I mean, differently because it's through the town, but about the same pay grade.
Hourly, but then you have insurance
Okay.
and all that. All right, in the sewer, other purchase services, so that, or do we want to wait till we get to it and
I don't care.
Finish water.
finish water? Then we'll come back to other purchase services. Okay, so that was other purchased water facilities.
All right. We're at facilities, water facilities now.
What is defined as a water facility? This is the pump houses themselves.
Pump houses, yeah. And, sometimes the office.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So under repair maintenance, I added 5,000 to that because I went over 25% this year. Membership and registration, that's the same. That'll cover like the membership to rural water and all that we hang on to. Electric and utility, that's the same as last year. Professional services, I like to put a little bit of money there. I mean, it doesn't always get used. You can see I only use 10%, but it's nice to have professional services money there if it needs to be done.
That's for like contracting with Great West.
Yeah.
Solely for, I mean, could you?
Not solely, you could use if I had to hire,
But are you planning for those types of things as far as?
We actually are. There's gonna be some big stuff coming now.
Not so much in facilities.
Yeah, not,
It'll be more in source, not source.
source and supply.
Source, supply, but transmission is where the tank sits in the departments though.
So professional, I'm just gonna throw this out there and don't get mad, but so professional services could be used to pay Mike.
Yeah. I wouldn't,
Not
That
under-
not under, not under
under
facilities,
facilities.
not under facilities, but
Okay,
down.
because that really doesn't seem like, looking at the previous bills, that doesn't look like enough to cover anything.
Yeah.
Transmission is more,
It could be the case that he would have to bring an engineer in to look at something and
We had an engineer, I had to come look at a bridge for me, you know.
that type of thing, he just has something that needs to be checked out, but needs to be checked by an engineer or a planner or.
Okay.
It does seem like a lot. I mean, if you look back at previous actuals.
Yeah, those are what-if lines.
what if lines,
Pretty,
and
yeah.
facility isn't your main component of water. I mean, water facilities, this is part of his office. This is, you can break water facilities into part of the pump houses, but it's not storage and transmission. Storage and transmission is where,
So
and source are your big
a great
expenditures.
example would be our SCADA system. That's in all our pump houses hooked to there. They were down 3 times last year working on that for me.
Who?
That's MET, automated controls. They specialize in taking care of these SCADA systems that tell us how much we pumped, what we're pumping that time.
That wouldn't be included in IT then?
No.
Okay.
Or if they fixed it last year, they're gonna fix it this year. Like historically, it was a pretty low number until this past year.
Did you have to transfer money last year to, you're just padding it an extra $28,000?
These are trying to distribute everything almost as evenly as you can, other than knowing where your big expenditures are going to be or changing if we saw something that was way over. But water and sewer, you try and even out because those, you could put it all into capital improvement and then you'd have to move it and go through budget amendment to use it. You see what I'm saying?
But isn't that what our budget is for, is so that the public knows where you're moving that money from and where you're moving?
I guess I see, like, if we had any of these emergency repairs, you're gonna take care of the repairs immediately. You're not gonna do a budget amendment to take care of those repairs.
But there's gonna be special code through Montana code on annotated for emergency applications of repairs. I mean, that is all somewhere. It just seems like it's padding.
I guess I don't see why
Separate.
it's any different than putting 15,000 in legal in case you need it for legal. Right, we would do that in general fund every year. Historically, it's 15,000 in legal, and then when you don't have it, you take it from water and sewer and pay it back later. So. I guess distributing the money where you think you might need it is the purpose of a preliminary budget.
Just so you know, this isn't all of water's money. It's not all in this budget. There's still a whole lot more packed away. Just so you know.
Like how much more, like cash reserves? How much?
In the revenue.
Exactly. I don't have that. I mean,
I think it's in our revenues. Not Mad Towns.
whereas before these were handled in a way that every cent was put on that budget
We reserve.
before this year. This year now, it's close to 500.
Yes. Wait, preliminary
Close to
budget.
So
That's not revenues.
at the end of last fiscal year, water had 874,600. And sewer had 1,379,000.
What was the
In
sewer?
cash reserve?
And that's cash available at the end of the year. So that is what they had in cash at the end of the year.
So theoretically, they still have that much going into this agenda
Oh,
or this budget.
Yes.
I'm sweating.
So I'm having a hard time understanding why these are so padded then, if there's extra in cash reserves.
So that I don't have to do a budget amendment if I need these.
Okay, but what, I mean, and I don't know how that.
That's why I'm
distribution-
telling you my thinking. That's why I pad those.
Okay,
Yes.
I understand you're
Okay.
padding them and it
Right.
makes sense to me, but it also, and I know you can't transfer money to separate departments, but when Karen has to dig into her cash reserve and then you have $2 million sitting there for your cash reserves, why
It's not my fault.
why is it budgeted?
You cannot compare the library's cash
I'm-
reserve to this. I mean, if the whole library
not the
were to
library.
have to be replaced,
I don't,
you went through the
I'm
water
mowing
report
grass,
and the
that's it.
wastewater report. Do you remember what those numbers were?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we have to get
those
a
are
loan
not,
for it.
those are not little items of repair. Those are $1 million items.
Right.
The tank is $750,000 and that's not even like fully installed and that's based on a year ago's financials.
Right. But we have to get a loan for it anyways. I mean,
So,
just,
is that why we're padding the professional, wait, where'd it go? The professional services because of what this 10-year plan?
And if you
Um,
did that, if you didn't, and he put exactly what's in there, it'll all go back into his reserve of water or sewer. And then anytime he needs it, we can come and vote on a budget amendment. If it's over
Whatever
what
you guys need.
projected.
but we've
Just
not
tell
had
me.
to do that ever.
and that's how.
It seems like there's been a
I'm
lot.
okay with whatever at this point. I really am.
Well, I don't think it's a battle. We're
I'm not mad.
just
I'm
talking
not
through
even
it.
upset. No, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm not even upset.
Yeah,
Don't
we're
even
just
take it
questioning.
away. I'm hot.
I get it.
I'm hangry.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry.
You can get your.
This is less padded than the budgets I saw before, Eric. Like, not a little bit. They were.
Every dollar was tied up in all those budgets.
So why
every
are we
year.
not seeing that
Every-
on here on these actuals, like
Because they're
19,
actuals.
20, 21, 22?
Because they're the actual numbers, not what they projected, and they
Not
were.
what he budgeted, that's what they spent.
And these were significantly
So
higher.
Bill used to pretend he was gonna spend $1.3 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's what was in the checking account.
Yep.
Sewer.
He
would
just
pretend
handled,
that he was gonna spend
you know,
that.
he handled his budget his way and he
Yeah.
did it
Everybody
an
would.
amazing job at it. I mean, look at it, you know, if there's one thing. But I just felt this year it did not need to be out there, so. That's
Okay.
where we're at.
So you're saving money, but
I don't know about saving, I just didn't feel like we needed it here.
So I'm just gonna ask a question about the potential loan that was mentioned for, is that for water or for sewer?
For water.
A loan of 750,000 if there's cash.
Well,
It's not the full 750.
But why would you take a loan if there's cash?
Because if you completely deplete the reserve that is there, then how are you gonna pay when you have a major failure?
Emergency.
I don't think you wanna back yourself into that tight of a corner. Not with a system that's as up to date as ours.
And if it gets to an actual blown thing where, you know, that happens, I don't think that water will get away with not paying the contribution of that. I really
So
don't.
of the 750, what's being considered for a loan?
There-
Sorry if I missed it.
No, it's for the resolution for next month, and I'll have that. It's the action on the water PER, because we changed it after finding that the failure happened again.
On the same panel.
On
Just
the
so you
same
know,
panel.
It was the same panel. Like it's got me worried.
So water source was our first priority according to the original PER of obtaining a new water source. And after that was the storage tank. We were changing those priorities.
We did vote on that.
You know what would help pay for these things? Like the people coming to visit Ennis, paying a resort tax, something like that.
I know, we're,
I don't know.
We're
I mean,
talking about
it's a
There's a
big
lot of
thing to
talk,
jump
a lot,
into,
not
but
a
it needs
lot
to
of-
be addressed.
At first.
So insurance is, insurance up 100 or 224%. Like why is that?
Where are you at?
Just at the bottom line after repairs and maintenance services.
You know what, Nikki, I noticed that too, and I've got a note to myself already
Okay.
to check into that.
It did go up, but
Yeah, but when I saw that amount,
yeah.
that's where I got to go back in.
Is that for maybe like,
It is.
it has
It
to
is.
be,
And-
'cause
And it doesn't make sense because it was 18.
And we upped the insurance on the tank
Well, that's,
last
Oh.
year, right?
yeah, that's true too, we raised it.
So we can't
but
for
that's
that.
why I still want to go back.
It was
and
only
look
set at
that.
a ridiculous amount, so we
It's
upped
Not
that.
replacement costs.
okay.
Yeah.
And where's the liability insurance for water?
That's gonna be up in admin, should be. Yeah, 510 under water
So-
administration.
So that would like all we had a few insurance claims last year. And that's where this would be?
No.
No,
It wouldn't be liability?
That would be,
well, liability stays
Transmission.
static. I mean, it didn't go up, but wages
No, it
went up,
decreased.
so liability, just depending on how many employees, percentages, and there's all different types of fluctuations in that.
Okay.
So, but it's based off of wages.
Liability is?
Yes.
we have it going down.
Yeah, it decreased.
It decreased
There
in
lost employees.
Right, but aren't you still budgeting for the other employees?
to replace it.
I'm budgeting for them, yes, but I've got to use wages that have already been paid for the liability insurance. So I'm using like last year's wages.
Just Eric and Kyle?
No, I.
Oh, because we had other help
Part
throughout.
year employees.
Okay.
remember we got Sean, we
Yeah.
got him his license and he quit the next day.
Nate,
Nate, yeah.
So could this insurance increase, could that be from the claims that were made? No?
flooding.
Right.
Oh, is that the house that flooded?
Yes.
Oh.
Would it go up
Did that
that
make
much?
it go
because
up?
I
of
think
Because we have the
that-
tank?
I think that was,
That wouldn't be in.
But we're in an insurance pool, I mean, all the cities and towns, so they base their numbers off of all the towns and cities.
How many they take out in total as a
Mhm.
group or, but is your rate determined by, like, say your rate is whatever, 10% of your payroll? can your rate fluctuate based on the number
Claims
of
made.
claims that you've had? Like,
Just in liability, they haven't. I mean, because our liability, like I said, it pretty much stayed flat this year. The fluctuation comes in paid out in wages.
So Pat, what is the allocation for the new water tank? For our payments for that? What is the, that's transmission and distribution
That,
of what line item? Is that gonna be?
That would be,
yes.
Well, a lot of that's gonna be ARPA.
But that's for ARPA. There's a portion of it that we're hoping at grant where it's the SRLF grant portion where it's loan and then repayment. Once, remember when Colette talked about this?
I just glazed over. Repeat, sorry.
So part of the funding for the water tank is a
Oh.
loan that is actually like more of a grant. Once you complete it on time and you have met all other requirements, then you are forgiven from your loan.
Yeah,
It's
I
the state's way of doing grants without it being a grant, basically.
And making sure that you.
and making
And
sure
making
you,
sure you build the
Yeah.
steps.
Yeah.
make sure you do what you get the grant for.
The loan for grant.
But do we not have a number for that? What are expected?
It's not gonna be in this year. That's the part about it. That
Okay.
tank, remember when we
Yeah.
talked about actually doing the concrete,
Yeah, they're like years.
they're years out.
2
So
years.
for this year's budget,
Oh.
it's in the planning stage. We have to get through that. We have to get applications done. That's where that's at. We're not actually delving
Can't even
into
apply.
writing a check for anything for
That's-
a
We
bit.
can't apply yet
That's the
either.
thing. That's
What?
We can't even apply yet, right?
Yes, no,
It's not
that's
even-
different. That's different. So we were originally gonna go that way with the state legislation round for the tank, because it was the most expensive of the things. But if we wait another year, not this March, but next March for legislation, and by the time the funds are released, you're back into October of 2024. Then starting to look to bid to get the tank, we're too far out for Eric's comfort level and mine, honestly, because I had Joe Brummel make an emergency plan for if that tank does not hold. It needs to be a hot priority, not a passive priority.
Just,
Where a landscape view, knowing that like we have these projects, maybe this one's 2024, would be really helpful to understand the budget. Like, okay, you don't want it to be like, this is Air Force, like, oh, we gotta spend every dollar, because if we don't spend our $5,000 this year, we're not gonna get it next year. And then that makes people afford funds or whatever, but to say like, oh, we're gonna need this tank, in 2 years. Maybe not so much for the enterprise fund, but for the general fund, it makes more sense, like know what's on the horizon and to take a bigger picture look at it, like, oh, well, this year, whatever, we want to put in sidewalks. Next year, our other priority is this. So we have a bigger picture. I think that's what they're trying to get at with the water tank.
There was a meeting to reprioritize that.
Yes, it's on the
I think
agenda.
I missed it.
No,
Oh,
We did vote on it.
we tabled the priority change
oh, you did?
because we have to adopt the water PER with the changes. Colette will be on to help us with that. But I asked as a general consensus before I wrote the resolution, if we're all good with that. And you guys said, yeah. So the official resolution with the funding sources and the plan.
All right, where are we?
Transmission, most painful.
transmission.
Wait, we got through this up?
Yeah, we did the water supply source.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I
source and
see where
pumping.
those budgets went, they went down.
Source and supply of pumping. Yeah, well, that was all the padding done prior. I followed suit last year, just as Kelly did, but this year.
We tried to go closer to what
Yeah.
we think our actual might be. If
What did you
worst
spend-
case scenario, what?
Sorry. What did you actually spend on contract services out of that 200? Anything?
No.
Okay.
And that was if we were going to do more with the well. But if we can't hold what we pump, I don't know what the point is.
Any questions on other purchase services for source and supply of pumping?
That's in there.
Is it in here?
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah. That was the Graham drilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a replacement pump. Anyways, keep going.
Now we're ready.
So yes, we did drop contract services, you know.
Down to maybe something more projected.
Yeah,
Right.
I wasn't,
That's big too.
I wasn't expecting to use, you know, so. We're good?
Mhm.
All right.
What do you-
Nine.
Continue.
You have a question? Go ahead.
Nope.
All right. So we're on transmission distribution now. Okay. The first line is a new one. So this would be a one-time split between water and sewer, and that's at ArcGIS and Esri. What that'll do is purchase the equipment and get the training to create the map ourselves, which is caused me so much problems this year. I'm actually surprised how much problem it's caused me.
Like a map of the sewage and water lines.
Oh,
Right.
Up to
This-
date? Up to date?
We looked at those
Up
and they're
to
off.
date.
All of our
As
maps
you-
are,
as
nothing
you-
matches. And
As
they
you
are
fix
off.
something,
And
as you go on,
that's what happens when you use
So-
off maps.
just a little
It's down.
background, the whole downtown where they drilled into that, since I've been here, was told the water main was on the other side of the road. Which on the map, it shows on the other side of the highway. So when he come down to do his drilling, of course, you look at your map first. And he had 8 inches to miss. That whole area, he only had 8 inches to miss. He'd have been fine. None of us knew where it was. And the map was so wrong. And then there was 2 other instances I can't.
So is it on the south? Or-
It is on the south side.
But not to the north?
The map shows it jogging across right at, just after First Street going down. Which I always assumed was right because the valves are on Second Street. What it was.
So was that map the one that we got the grant for, that was it Staley Engineering? Did it? Is there a liability cost for, I mean, they're professional engineers.
Yeah, they've got it
It
wrong.
feels as though that if you were going off their information,
That-
it would be a lawsuit to them. I'm just saying, if you based your big decisions on the faulty information, that's a pretty big deal, especially in the engineering field.
That's a good, is it too late to look into that?
We can look.
Never.
But the maps from,
How old is the map? What was the last time?
I'd have
Well,
to
that's what
look
my
on it.
question was, there was a study done in, I think, 2017, 18, somewhere in there.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I was curious, if you were using that map or an older map,
The new current.
the new current map. So it seems as though that would be a pretty,
They should
just
be,
maybe to recoup some money on that, because that was probably an expensive hit.
Yeah.
that if you were basing your decisions on health, that was supposed to be professional.
Yeah, I never even thought about it that way. I really haven't, so thank
I
you.
mean, it might be something
Should the
that
top guy?
else to think about.
I do know this, it was never finished. That's all I know about it.
Yeah, so that's why I was curious as to what
Okay.
happened with the,
No,
if it was that one, that wasn't,
The map is not finished.
so.
Maybe they would possibly reimburse though for.
So they get paid again?
Probably. But the 14,000 between the two departments is enough to pay for that new map.
this actually purchases the equipment the town owned to go out.
And so we can update our own as it goes.
Update it as you put in new sewer line or new valves.
Okay.
Or
Is it easy to learn? So
Yeah.
when you're both gone, the next person will, okay.
it's, you pretty much just stick your phone on the pole and type in what you want.
Okay.
This, and the nice thing about this, it'll have a 1 foot accuracy. So if I'm looking for a curb stop and it's under 10 feet ice or whatever, 2 feet, I'll be able to find it pretty quick. Or the roads are iced up, you know.
Yeah, so digging all the way down, trying to find it.
I just feel getting, and I'm not, we got to like be real about this. This one, we're talking about this map. This is on a whim of if I get help. Because there's no way I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that equipment and the ArcGIS, until I have more help, but I do hope to get more help this year. I'd love to have a complete map by springtime, you know?
Yes.
Plus, we've done so many additions, you know, I've added valves everywhere, hydrants. So that is split between water and sewer both. Repair maintenance services, you know, that went up quite a bit. You can see where we ended up from last year.
But from the year before, it's not
Or-
that far off, so.
Right. But I think that most of that was a lot of downtown. Oil and grease, you know, we use a lot of different oils and grease out.
And gas, so what is this, your gas for or diesel fuel for this department? What is
So
that?
when I do fuel receipts, that gets split between the 3 departments.
Okay.
So everybody's got some of that. Professional services, there we are again. See, that's dropped down a little bit. I mean, we have professional testing. This is mainly Energy Labs in Helena. So we test the water monthly.
Okay.
You know. And we actually have some pretty big tests that are due this coming up month. Those are going to be pretty expensive. Repairs and maintenance services, kept that the same.
Wait, what am I missing? What's the difference in? There's 2 repair and maintenance. Did I
One is
miss?
supply, the first one's supplies, and then the second one is services.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, and motor vehicle repair. That's just,
Is that combined between the departments also? Okay.
yes. But we had, you know, we lost 1 engine, 1 transmission. and I need a brake valve. So, there.
And what year are our trucks? We have a 15 as our newest in our fleet. We have a 2003 or 4. That was what got a motor, a used motor. And we have a 90.
Currently, right now, we have one vehicle that it would drive me crazy if I had to drive it over the hill and get equipment. You know,
7.
and those trailers are heavy though.
Go ahead.
9,000 pounds
Yeah.
loaded.
That the old one's less complicated, easier to work on.
They are. But at some point with 200,000 miles, I mean, a used motor, and you go again, and that's what we did, because it was cheaper than buying a new vehicle. But you have to plan for some of that. If you have something that's from the 90s or 2000s, it's 20 years old. I love it. And if anybody asks me what to buy, I say no later than 2004 because that was the easy stuff to work on. But you have to plan for more as they have more miles and more use. You have to plan for more repair and maintenance.
Did you have enough money in there though for all those, I mean, between the,
Those are, well, the motor was last year. The transmission will be on this budget cycle. And that was in the newest.
I'm still getting used to this starting the year, and I don't even like it. It don't even make sense.
That's like me looking at the budget. What's that?
Well, I'm just curious about like the trucks and stuff, if they're up there, the actual plan is written, what they're looking to do. Water and sewer each have that much money.
You can't, water and sewer can't be the major contributors
Yeah,
for the
they use-
vehicles.
It's a certain percentage of what you use it for.
Mhm. All right, so that's
So-
transmission. Distribution. Any other in it? For other purchase services were the diapers and cleaning. And signs.
That's EPA report that we had to do. Those are due every 3 years. That was the first one done 8.
Is that the one made up of flying colors?
I mean, we did all right.
What's this transfer stuff?
Transfer.
So that, you'll see it in water and sewer. So that is the portions of the enterprise funds that go into the health insurance, into retirement. I think this is the last year for the Mad Towns.
We'll
Well,
see,
Eric's,
hopefully.
Eric will make the decision on that. So then, and then they pay a portion for IT.
Actually down from last year. Is, for the health insurance, is that just for your department?
Anybody that has wages in water and sewer.
Oh, so you, Maria, oh, not Maria. Oh, it's a portion.
And then them, and then we've also budgeted for if Eric gets 2 more employees.
Oh, okay.
But I did cut out the first quarter,
Okay,
what those costs would be. I've asked those out of it.
okay.
When does the quarter end? What month?
September.
All right, perfect.
Like a week from now.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I took off July, August,
Cool.
September.
Thank you. Good there.
That's pretty much the end of water. And then you're on to sewer fund.
No questions on water. Let's go to sewer. Office supplies and matter. That one's set at $1,000. So we went down a little bit. Small items of equipment.
Eric, I haven't picked up on that, but why did you go down? Because we spent 2,400.
I don't know. I don't even make sense to me, but
Can I
looking
look
at,
at that
yeah.
and increase it if necessary?
Well,
We
I-
actually, yeah.
I'm surprised that I thought we were just talking about how we would see it later and now we're not. But, so yeah, that's probably my fault.
Between the two of us, we missed it.
You know,
Are you talking about the 210?
Yes.
Yes.
And then we're budgeting for a purchase and small items of equipment, so that one went up quite a bit.
yes.
What you getting?
This would be,
In administration.
yeah,
I get part of your office.
Oh,
I invite any of you to spend an afternoon in my office.
yeah, we can help paint it.
No, we need to spend a July afternoon in his office.
We should make that your guys' next project.
Okay. Which one? Sorry.
Postage.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
one
right.
where he's split it between sewer and water, and that's where he's gonna do the increase to put AC, where we said, well, that's not much for AC and heating.
Yeah.
It's because it's split between the two, so that's why the
And there's
increase.
also a sewage pipe that goes up into it.
And it used to be the
TLC.
ground. So if you go in there in July, it smells like.
It needs help, man. It rains, it floods. I have to keep everything off the ground.
Okay, you don't have to say anymore.
You're good? You're good on that?
It's a whole thing, Craig. It is.
It literally is the doghouse.
Does it have a window?
Kind of. I don't want to open them because they're gonna break if I try.
It's great.
Okay.
It's actually kind of funny to me, but
It is more spacious now that you moved in, though.
it's
as
a
from
little
your
bit.
previous.
You gonna do some traveling? Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead, sorry.
Postage is hella expensive for your water bills, huh? I mean, every month and that many bills, yeah.
But they tried to get people to go.
Water, yeah, I'm guilty.
We don't do it online either. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Paper checks. That's how we roll. I wouldn't do it either.
Accounting and auditing? Oh, wait, membership, sorry.
And
Where are you going?
also on
There's
this,
nothing on membership? Yes, there
Got
is.
it down at 6:30.
there is.
There is. I just can't.
There is.
I need my ruler.
This ruler is handy dandy. But wait, where are you?
Membership.
Membership and registration we added. 'Cause that's-
What is membership for?
That's all split through rural water and
Oh, yeah,
sewer club.
okay, sorry.
We
Pretty
had it out of
much.
one spot before.
The poo crew. I don't know.
How come there's no telephone?
The telephone, we got rid of.
I remember that and it's in my TV. I do remember that.
So yeah, the price for all the lines at town hall now is now $9.99 a month instead of $38.47 per line, in which we had one for four. We had four total. We had one for court, two for up front, and one to Eric before.
What about cell phone? I haven't seen cell phone anywhere.
We never had one until yesterday.
Which now we have to figure out where to put that.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I'll
Just get
make
a
it
cell
work,
phone?
don't worry.
portion of your personal bill paid for?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
and
now
that's
that
in
he's getting
claims.
calls on the weekends
Oh, no,
constantly,
I just
I
meant
decided
if it was
it's
somewhere
not.
else, it would
He needs
be-
his own.
We
No,
signed
no,
up
I'm
on
not saying he doesn't deserve his own phone.
But it was. They
we
were
sign up on
reimbursed
claims
before.
every month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
exactly. It's just not-
that was a
it
$25
was just
reimbursement.
Categorized somewhere else.
Yeah. He's over the.
Yeah, that's,
Start blocking.
yep.
You know-
He's gonna
You know,
change it.
Brittany, you know what makes me upset the most? That's the only cell phone number I've ever had. But it's my fault, you know. It worked well.
I got you.
You're a
But
hell of a man for answering
It
the
worked
phone,
well,
I can
but
tell you that.
we just need a line. I not because of this or that, or I just need a line.
Yeah, you do.
You know.
That's fair. Yeah. I'll call them more often than he does.
I don't even know.
Accounting and
Accounting
auditing.
and
I just
Yeah,
looked back at
yeah,
this thing
those
this morning.
are, you know, travel.
Where are you going?
Missoula.
For
Are you
training
gonna do
and-
more training and stuff? Is that why?
We have to go every year. Yes, we
They
have
have how many
12,
hours?
12 hours continuing education credits each, water and sewer. You have to get
And that's every year?
Familiar with that.
every year. And so if we don't get them all done there at that conference, then you're traveling to wherever just to pick this up. Because if you don't get your hours in, then you're
You
gonna
don't get your-
you lose your license.
Why'd you lower other purchased services?
Let's look at that. Oh, that's a big one.
Under administration,
Let's look at
well,
It's in there.
Oh, I see, because the actual was 14 and you have 22. I got you. Sorry, maybe it's getting late.
So even though the numbers are similar, you get charged out of each department for Black Mountain.
Some of them were exactly the same.
Mhm. It's split.
Many of them were exactly the same.
Oh,
So like utility billing should be absolutely perfect between the two.
Insurance.
Well, we call it the water bill, but it's got both.
So if I'm looking at this for water admin, sewer admin, it has like all the Black Mountain software stuff. It's the same date, same number in both of these categories. So is that
It's
because,
just split.
That's the
so it's
date.
really, three, for example, that first line, finance is really, say, $3,000 and it's split, 1,500 here and 1,500 there.
Yes.
Yeah.
On 10/22. Annual renewal for
Okay.
Black Mountain software.
How about some of the other stuff like, there's some entries from the office temp entries from Maria. They're exactly the same, on the same date. Is that because it's not really, for example, 312 on 9/22, it's really $624 on 9/22?
That's how I understand. Is that right?
Is that what that means? Okay.
But some of that,
Yeah, so it just split them equally, right, between the water and sewer.
Okay.
And that Black
so she
Mountain, that's
really makes
annual?
$1,400 a month. Maria made, I guess that's really $1,400 a month. $799 and $799.
Probably more than
And
that.
and administration.
And
Liability or for-
Well, just go down the list of 423. There's a $771 entry on water admin and another $771 entry under sewer admin. Same person, same day. So it's really, that's 1,400 on that day. So
Why
as
would-
long as if it's really split half and half rather than a double dip.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is good.
Why did she opt to do it this way instead of becoming an employee? Or did she opt to do that?
She's temporary, right?
Kind of, but I'm thinking of adding her just to payroll. It's been long enough. And then she said if there was somebody that was perfect for the spot, then she was going to. She's like, I would like to spend more time gardening if there's somebody that is perfect for the spot.
How long have we had her now?
A year.
Year.
Holy
At
smokes.
least.
And she has her independent status and her own insurance.
She's been contract for a year.
We're pretty much done with that. Be
Yes.
part-time.
Yes.
She is going to be an employee.
And so,
What's that?
She
sorry,
is
Bob.
going to be an employee.
So whose choice was that, I guess? Does it matter? I mean,
Doesn't matter at budget at this point. That's the old one. It won't look like this.
Did the accountant or the city attorney sign off on that?
the city attorney?
Yeah.
Probably.
I can check with James if you'd like me to.
Sign off on, what are you asking me?
On Maria.
Ignore me.
Check with James on Marie's contract.
I'm just saying this is.
Yeah, it's a huge general independent. Corey knows that, but it's independent as an employer. Contract status is.
There's a
really
very
hard.
specific definition, and if she is having to come in set hours, taking orders from someone, she's not an independent contractor.
Then she can come back.
So is that a liability to the
Yeah,
town?
she can come back and sue you.
Yes.
That she can get all of her benefits as an employee would be awarded.
Oh, wow. 600 bucks is kind of the magical number on a 1099 independent contractor.
No, there's a very specific definition of what.
All right, doesn't matter. Next week.
Well, just curious. I mean, we don't ever
Check
get to
with
do
James.
this, so this is like where we can finally ask a question and understand.
You can ask a question Monday, every Monday. I hang out here every Monday. You can come hang out. Ginger is here like all the time. She never leaves.
We try, I
It's
mean,
hard.
I think we put in some hours too, so.
Any other
Okay.
purchase service questions or anything else
I don't think so.
to this point?
I peeked through it and I think.
Where are we now? Sewer
From
collection?
anybody. I do not want to move on unless everybody's good.
I think we're good.
Well, you already licked it.
What?
Oh,
Oh, I.
kidding.
All right, it's getting late. It's not working well.
Let's keep going. Rock and roll.
We got treatment disposal.
Sure.
Correct?
Yes.
Repair maintenance, that just stays the same. I will say treatment and disposal, we are putting work in out at the lagoon. Next week, starting next week, we have to replace a valve, drain each. Yeah, there's 3 of them. So I got to drain 2 of them separately and have a good look at the liner. Requesting the liner out there. So I put some money in there, get some help out of that. Gas and oil, we have lots of machinery, cutters, pumps, blowers. That all gets changed with that. Membership and registration. Of course, is the same with all the others. Electricity, that's pretty much what it is.
Where did we put the jetter?
It's coming, right?
Was it it wasn't collection? It was something else?
I think we skipped transmission, right, and went to disposal.
No, I don't know what we did. I don't know where we put it.
I have questions on the 210.
Oh, there it is. Machinery, equipment. Yeah, here it is. So right now we're part of Mad Towns and we share with the 4 towns, the jetter machine, the back trailer, the camera truck or camera,
Van, the creeper van.
various compactors, cutting torch. And anytime you go over the hill, or you need them. Thing about towns is we all basically do our maintenance at the same time. We're all there at the same time. We're all waiting on this.
So this is for you to buy yourself a
Purchase
few
the
things?
town's own
Every item?
jetter.
Not
What is
all of
it?
it.
This I could get,
Gender?
Yeah.
What is it? Gender?
with that money, I could get out of the mad towns and into equipment that
Where would we
Doesn't
store that?
in the shop,
In the shop?
inside.
And what is, I'm sorry, what's a jetter?
The jetter is what we use to jet our sewer lines, clean roots or blockages.
Super high pressure water, and this one's heated
And
and clean, and it
right now,
literally cuts.
our
without
current,
pressure.
so right now the current jetter is running on 1.5 cylinders. It's half the pressure what it needs to be.
So the roots kind of go like this.
Yeah,
And it
that's-
just keeps growing and clogging.
We actually have video of it just blowing the roots around. It's
They're like,
pathetic.
thanks for the spritz. It's not.
So this pays for just one piece of machinery?
That's
Two.
Two. What else?
A vac trailer.
And what's that for?
That's for sucking out, cleaning manholes. That's for cleaning out our grease traps at the lagoon.
Okay.
We use it for digging post holes around here. It's real handy.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I think I agree with that.
man, if there's one piece of equipment we use the most, it's the vac trailer.
Okay.
They're very versatile.
Could we loan it, like, could you loan it to another town?
No.
They never loaned it. Oh,
That's what's been happening.
That's that.
oh, okay.
Or full, like
That's
the back
not the
truck's
problem.
not
So,
even drained
I
before.
feel like
They're like, they use it and then they just leave it full of,
Wow.
so that air gets.
it's
to
kind of
take it.
sad how Mad Towns has went. It's
How much does that interlocal agreement cost us per year? 2,000?
Mhm.
This will pay for itself in a few years, yeah.
Shitty equipment for cheaper.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm not even lying to you. I go to pick it up, it's gonna be full of crap.
yeah,
I go bring it back here and start using it. I'm gonna have to fix it now too.
yeah. No, this, I think this is a
You
good
know?
investment
Yeah.
and it's gonna, it's not, is it something that's gonna like outdate 2-3 years? Or you can use it
No.
for 20 years?
I
This-
mean,
Is there
the
an
Mad
agreement
Towns-
with Mad Towns on like equipment replacement or that kind of thing? I can completely understand your
So-
frustration.
So there is, like, so with Mad Towns, we could decide to, I'm actually president, but we could decide, I don't know how that happened.
I'm just curious, like, if there was a bigger investment from, because, I mean,
It's county, right?
$200,000 for half the equipment. I mean, that's 100 years or whatever, but if, you know, if the rest of the communities came in, I mean, I completely understand your frustration of having that broken and not, but it seems to me if there was maybe a better agreement in place.
Right.
And have responsible, like, oh, it gets serviced X amount of time.
So that's how it was.
Yeah,
And it actually worked really well when I got here.
yeah.
And I'm more upset than anything that it's not still around and working well. That's the problem. It's not working well. The same people aren't there. And there's people in and out. They don't even know what or who this is. You know, when I come tell them what's going on, the new guy in Twins, like, what are you talking about? You know,
You guy in
or
Sheridan.
Sheridan. It's just not the same.
No, I get that.
I-
I'm just saying, you
the
know,
value of
$200,000
that,
to $200,000.
You know, when he started it, it was amazing what it did for all these communities. Because
They all respected each other. Used it.
there's that.
No, I totally get you, but if you need.
Have the ability.
$400,000 worth of equipment total. $2,000, you know. This is a big jump. And I completely
It is a
understand
big jump.
that,
I think with the growth of town.
Here's where I'm at.
Like,
Here's
yeah, I
where
think
I'm
we
at.
just can be a little more.
It ain't that I need more. We just need it here all the time. And the equipment stays here
Yeah.
because we use it.
Yeah.
That's where it stays because we're the ones that use it. You know, the other towns will come and grab it. Oh, we're right in the middle of whatever. And then I have to go back, drag it back.
So there's more than just 2,000.
And that cost.
There's cost of you doing it, there's cost of, but I mean, it is a
You know where
big
it
jump,
is,
but
kind of shape
I think
it.
it's smart
It's
though.
ready whenever you need it. It's your own.
What's the
Yeah,
likelihood,
get it.
Jeff?
The one we got, so, you know,
Does it have anything?
Nothing is forever.
I think it's
Yeah.
Not even.
70.
Nothing is forever.
It's old. The equipment's old.
I'm just wondering how many years you're gonna get out of your investment, that's all. Of
Right.
How much it's actually, if it's gonna last 10 years.
So I gotta
$20,000 per year.
I gotta throw this out here. I've only looked at new equipment now. I haven't started or had time to start looking at good used equipment, which is where I'm at now. You know, I've got good bids for brand new equipment, but I'm gonna start looking at good used equipment also. Before, and I'm okay with if you guys
Actually,
say, well, that's fine, but let me see the bids and tell you if I'm okay. I'm fine with it.
that's very
I just
transparent.
feel-
I appreciate
I
that.
just feel this town needs its own equipment, man. You cannot tell me there's only 900 and some people in this town. You can't feed me that
No.
BS. You can't. I'm not eating it.
There's 1,200.
Well, it's hard to get a grasp on those second homeowners.
Yeah.
You know, and through the census, it's, I think,
Not accurate.
it's just not accurate for our type of community.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you look at the budget this year to last year, it's only gone up
Not
$60,000. I think
Uh,
that's.
You know, I'm
Seems
okay.
reasonable.
I'm okay if you guys want to see the bids, look at it yourself. I'm fine. But whatever way, this town, I just feel at this point, for me, it's time.
That's a
It's
question I
just
have.
Like new bids
So,
are great,
I
but
don't
when we
think
go to
anyone's disagreeing.
auction,
okay.
that's when it becomes tight is the only thing. Like you have to be ready for emergency or emergency meeting. Cause if it's, you guys all want to decide and say yes to this and it's used, like we jumped on the snowplow last year because we had looked, that was the best price with that amount of miles. We have only one rust item, but we knew that coming from Pennsylvania, had it looked at and jumped on it. There's a little bit difference in the used market and its availability when it auctions versus the new, like
Right.
new stuff. If that's what we finally come to, like, look all you want. It might be a like emergency meeting if you guys want a bid.
I trust you. and
If
your
you want,
judgment.
if it's a used piece of
Just
equipment.
so you know, I was looking.
Yeah.
I was looking at a new back trailer and I found a used one that has less than 500 hours on it. You know,
I trust
for
you
a
to make
cost.
this
Like
decision
I'm good with
100%,
something like
and
that.
respect
I
and
don't
appreciate
need
your
brand new. I just feel at this point, Ennis needs,
Updated?
we need equipment here, especially with the lingering manpower around.
I get it. Do it to her.
while we're talking about that in quotes, is there a requirement? Like I was even thinking about the library and getting what are they getting? Water bottle station or whatever. They have to get quotes. They get 3 quotes. Is that kind of like a standard?
No,
No?
8,000 for like a bid. Karen always puts together, like before she does budget, she looks in.
I wish I was that organized. I would really.
Next year.
That's what I said.
Okay, so there's no requirement for that.
Only,
That's what I said
If
last.
it's
year. I'm gonna have
$80,000 or
time
more.
to sit down and plan my summer out. It didn't work.
Yeah, it sure does.
Per project?
what do you mean?
Yes.
Per item, per,
Per item project, yes.
yes.
How do you even like guesstimate that though?
What's that?
Like when shit happens and you gotta go fix things and hire contract people, how do you? even
Emergent
guesstimate what-
repairs aren't in that, like planned
they're not?
repairs are, yeah,
Oh. okay.
that's,
Is that why, because in the audit this year, wasn't there something about the pave roads or something, not
didn't.
going out to bid or,
Right.
right? we gotta take
So,
that.
and that, yeah,
We
yeah,
had a
that was
credit
me.
And I didn't.
That's, but to get an asphalt company in Ennis, that happens once a year and everybody knows it and everybody jumps on it and everybody, like I tell everybody, hey, the asphalt people are coming and everybody gets on them and they do their projects, you know?
I mean, so the consequences,
The write-up on the audit. Yes, we're supposed to. Yes, we need to.
and
Anything
if
over.
a competitor was like, hey, I would have came in under, then they would.
Have that
Yeah.
work.
Depends on what.
Could be. If it was I mean, I see this probably more significant when we start going towards the water project. That is definitely going to be, if anybody wants it. Right now, it just seems like everybody's, who can you get that is willing to do anything?
And I guess some of the projects can't be local, because I guess it's nice if you can keep it local. Vendors. But on a project
So-
as big as,
So here's where you gotta know, and I'm adamant about using local first, or at least asking them. I don't do anything without asking local people. I won't do it.
that's awesome. I mean, I think that's important.
I won't do it. I'm actually kind of upset that nobody was contacted about that. What's that?
Like when you are ranking, like, okay, you know, it's almost like a rank system, because like if there is a contractor that you use that, you know, there's been issues, like does that weigh against them, you know, as well? Not just, I mean, you'd be like, oh, well, we use the local electrician for this, but we did this many things. You know, whether we, you know, would it cost us this much in insurance claims, is there ever that weight either?
Contractor associated claims.
I mean, right now I use what I got, and that's about it. I use who will answer the phone, you know.
And as far as ranking systems and paperwork,
I wish.
there's a lot missing here.
You know-
Like a lot. I mean, public records request is new since 2022. I mean,
So,
it's weird to be in 2022 and think that people might have public records that they would want and you would fill out a form, but that was new to town. So, ranking list for contractors will go on the to-do list.
Well, yeah, but when you're talking really big projects, and,
yes,
big mistakes.
yes,
Cost a lot.
all of that,
That's all I'm saying.
all of that
You know,
is,
if you have someone who has a track record, whether they're, you know, you don't want someone to just, you know, oh, it's because they're available. I mean, I've definitely done it in my house, oh, so-and-so's available.
They're working on a listserv for these guys, which I
Yeah.
think would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then they'd be like, hey, do you have a contractor rating list? That would be awesome. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. But we'll send it out on the listserv and see if any of the other towns has one.
Yeah.
Go from there. Have a note for it.
because I'd like to add to it, you know.
All right, so let's. Where are we at?
Sewer treatment and disposal. Seems later than it is.
Collection and transmission. Anyways, you see the other part of the S3 up there? It's at 17,000.
I thought we already did this.
I just
Sewer
wanted you
treatment and
to,
disposal?
I just wanted you to see,
Oh.
make sure that you know anything extra I got going on.
Mhm.
All right. Repair maintenance, again, we didn't use that much prior, but it's gonna be a lot higher this year.
Because that's the lagoon, right?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, I don't even.
That's the only
The
lagoon
pump
project
that it's
that
gonna
we're.
take to
Yeah.
pump that lagoon dry is like $400 and something a day to run.
Yeah.
Electricity, That's the same. I'm kind of starting to worry about that now. I hear that prices are going up.
Yeah. Should you change it now before we have to do a budget amendment, or is that sufficient? Sufficient.
I think we'll be all right.
You're okay with it?
I am.
Or do you want?
I am.
341 electricity.
I am.
Oh.
Yeah, I see it going up, but hopefully not too much. Telephone,
12% or something.
is it going up 12%?
I feel like I heard that.
I don't know that though.
I don't know.
I think we're good.
I do not know that.
We're good.
That's a,
I probably just made
That's
that
when
up.
you can do a budget amendment.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think we're good. And that's something they'll see coming too, so it'd be an easy thing to plan,
Exactly.
right?
All right.
Professional testing, sewer, that's, we're doing sewer testing from Energy Labs in Helena. Repairs and maintenance services.
it's like a professional, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to, I want to get a guy out to actually get a good look at our liner. I have questions about it.
We had that turtle thing last year,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
We have 5-foot squares showing up.
Where? In the lagoon?
Mhm.
To me, they look like just leftover pieces from, but I
So
have
we
to have a
want
look at it
the
now.
liner right
So I have to have a look at it.
between the turtles eating it and a weird patch. We want an accurate look at that.
I think, because the guy said it is feasible to use that for the next,
Not
future time being, so yeah, sink money
not
into it.
good.
And also, I don't know if we took some seismic activity up there or something, but our air pipe just shifted 2 inches. So, I mean, we're gonna have to get into that. That just happened last week. I don't know what happened out there, but we'll figure it out. Motor vehicle repair, that was also the add-on, right, Ginger?
Some to that.
That'll be, anything that needs fixed, we'll split, travel, same thing with all the other training.
Holy moly, what did you think you were gonna spend $208,000 on last year?
Monkey see, monkey do. Last year I didn't know. Monkey see, monkey do. Last year, I'm not gonna lie to you, last year I didn't have a clue. This year it's not even much better, but it's a little better.
Same,
Monkey see, monkey do, I mean, my training is,
same thing in the category up above. Went from 208,500 down to 50.
Yeah, but I figured that just went over to this machine equipment, sorry. Just,
that's how he budgeted, this is how I'm gonna budget leaving money. And I'll have to thank Ginger for really pushing this on me, because I'm good with it, it makes sense, I'm happy about it.
So in this section, sewer treatment, does this include, treatment is at the lagoon, but like you guys taking care of all the non-used grease traps, testing anybody,
Yes,
the campground, the bars? You're understaffed for that, or do you?
yeah. I got plans for that, okay?
so, sorry, speaking about the campground, I just noticed that it's up for sale. Yeah, did they have to tell? They have to disclose that there's a pre-tree ordinance.
Yes.
I was their agent on those.
Yeah.
Right? But what if they don't?
So what would happen is that the buyer can sue the seller for non-disclosure.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's
Don't
still
tell
just my
us.
backyard that gets tore up to make it work. So
Oh my gosh.
Campground
I didn't know it's for sale.
Because the end of the
Yeah.
only way to design it
It was like
to put in
1.7.
pre-treatment is at the end of the sewer line, which the sewer cap is literally underneath my trampoline. So, yeah.
And I think he bought it, I think it was around nine was listed.
Good for him. Good for him.
And it looks worse there.
Any other purchase services questions for
I don't think,
Sewer?
treatment and disposal?
I do not believe so.
All right. So from here, we've kind of hashed through everything. Anything that you have questions on, addressed?
Where it says transfer for health insurance, so if water and sewer is paying over $80,000 for premiums, just what exactly is the premium for 5 employees?
It's more than 5, we thought.
Oh, cause Ginger's in there, not Susie. Just you three.
The total number, the total premium for all the employees.
For all.
For all of
per
town?
Yeah. There should be a way to write that out. Because if water and sewer is paying over $80,000 for health premiums,
Yeah,
what's
that's
all
a
the
lot.
other departments paying
Yeah.
for such a small amount of employees?
So with the other departments being tax-based, we can do what's called courtesy levy for that. So that takes care of a portion of those. Probably, if I remember it right, I have it in front of me, Carla. I believe the insurance was right around $204,000 a year.
We have 24.58 permitted for health insurance. That's 121, almost $122,000 for permissive health insurance levies.
Right, that's for the permissive levies.
Yeah, but that's for
So
that's
also-
not, doesn't, the general fund also contributes to health insurance as well.
And town
We're
has
allowed
how
this
many
many.
employees?
We have 12 right now, that's counting everyone. But
Except for
anyway,
Maria.
So of that, Carla, 121,000 is in permissive levies.
So that can only be used for that, because that's what,
Right,
you can,
that's
you can
what
tax the
for.
folks and say this is for
But-
health insurance.
If you only, those permissive levies only go towards tax-based departments. So that's gonna be general fund, library, general fund, all departments that would have people with health insurance.
That's just health insurance.
So the enterprise funds, I base it on wages, and they have, it's 30% of Eric's, say, his wage, 30%, so I would take 30% of the health insurance and of his health insurance for the year and put it in there to transfer into the health insurance fund.
Is there, that's still a lot for 12. Is there any talk about, of an employee contribution to the healthcare as well? Like, I know it's a recruitment tool, so I'm just curious, like, are people more in tune with getting insurance? Like, for Eric, it seems like we've got a bunch of, typically, who are public works employees, are younger single guys that, maybe would rather have, more money as opposed to the insurance but yeah, I mean,
But if they don't take the town insurance, they have to have proof that they have insurance.
they have to have proof that they have insurance. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. But yeah, just some kind of employee contribution, because what is the current deductible for employees?
That's it?
Yeah.
So it seems as though.
So the employee pays nothing and they can insure
More
their,
insurance.
their whole family's covered?
Which is a great recruitment tool. I totally get it, but I think at some point, when it's $200 and some $1,000 and it's 30% of a budget, like.
That's $17,000 per employee. If we have 12 employees. Am I doing that right?
I don't know, I don't do that.
If you have 204, we spent 204,000 And we have 12 employees?
Yeah.
$17,000 an employee for health insurance?
So you can change that, like Lisa
Oh,
said,
no,
and then
I
you're
guess
still
that's
gonna,
right,
you're gonna
the
change it
1,000.
into wages, one way or the other. Because
No.
Eric's position right now at his current rate is what Bozeman like maybe starts at. As a, I don't know anything, I don't have my water, I don't have my sewer. That's the hard part about us, is we are right smack in high dollar territory as far as Big Sky has their resort tax, West Yellowstone has their resort tax, Bozeman has their population and a tax for everything.
No sales tax.
No sales tax, but I think that's about all Gallatin doesn't have at that moment. So, and I know
I just,
Manhattan
No, I
had
think
to,
it's a great-
Manhattan
great
had to,
tool. I'm just, like,
what, Manhattan had to go $10 an hour more? What was
Right,
Manhattan?
because you
Yeah.
have to be able to afford it. Well, it's actually only 14, I say only, but that's like $1,400 a month per employee.
I would say that's probably right.
Yeah. But when I
Sounds
thought
about right.
204,000 and 12 people, but then when you break it down, it's really,
But if you were
But
to
there's
have,
no employee contribution estimate. It's being paid for the whole family.
that's really, really nice.
right, it's really, really nice, so.
if you just look around, that's becoming the normal.
Oh, are you, okay, my husband has that and we don't think it's the normal.
It's definitely.
We are so grateful every single day.
When I go looking for jobs, we don't have insurance.
Yeah, but insurance is great for insurance, but you have to contribute something to it. You don't
Yeah.
sell for your whole family.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Never paid insurance for a reason.
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So like, for an example, if employees were to pay out of that $1,400, that $1,400 per employee.
I was trying to, but we're gonna just discuss how we manage things.
If you would, well, if you had to contribute $200 a month out of that $1,400, you would have $28,000 more in the general fund.
And we can't get anybody how it works now anyway.
I know. Yeah.
Do you pay people, are people more attracted to the wage or are they attracted to the benefits? Because if Eric told that people is not necessarily attracted to that.
I'm not even throwing up threats or anything or even being that guy, but without insurance, I'll leave.
Oh, no, you'll have it.
What I'm saying is the guys that work for you, would it be more important to them to
Oh,
recruit people?
yeah.
Because obviously you have the biggest turnover, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're determined.
Yeah.
What is gonna be the attractant for people to stay? Obviously, it's not the insurance. So what is the attractant? It is for him. Yeah.
Like, for example, my son is 20 years old on our insurance.
Yeah.
And he can be there till he's 26, so he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of places in town that don't offer it. So he could come to town and maybe make more money because he doesn't need the insurance. That $1,400 more a month could go to, and he might, he's 20.
Or you might do it for $800 more a month.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still the, even if you said, like, if the budget would flush out, saving it in the insurance is also gonna be.
Paying it in the,
Yeah.
in the salary, and then if it's in the salary and liability is based on wages.
Wages.
And you're struggling to recruit, so maybe, I don't know if you could offer an option, like, hey, you want insurance, cool, if you don't take the insurance, please.
You have to have the insurance,
Yeah,
like, but maybe a different package of it or something.
Never thought of it, but
We'll look at it. All right, so that's,
you're right. Those 20-year-olds don't need it.
they don't care at that point. They just don't care.
Oh, he cares, but he's lucky.
So that's the end of sewer. We've gone through every department.
The mad towns, just so I'm done, that's
Oh, yeah.
the mad town. Conglomerates through the 4 towns, and we just split between equipment and repairs, what's left in that account. Which if you'll see, if you look at the mad towns real quick, there ain't much money in there. Yeah, we talked about this and considered equipment through the mad towns, but it just,
That wasn't what it is, how much money do you have?
right, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it just, I think we should be on our own. Not that we don't want to play nice and be good and work together, but I think we're at that point. Equipment is a funny thing. Parts. There's not a lot of men like to share their equipment. Just saying. I mean, we don't. We don't walk around with equipment because it comes back.
But it really does come down to like, our season is 3 months. And if all three towns are like,
And I say no,
and we're the far one.
I say no, but there's no way I'd say no actually if Twin or Sheridan or needed help. I would never say no. They wouldn't.
Yeah, I can see that leave them there.
Nope, then they just share
Well,
between
you're
the two.
the president. You're just gonna do
He's
this
quick.
and out.
No, I'm not saying we have to get out of it.
But we may not need the
We need this.
broke down
equipment.
back trailer.
And I totally get that. I'm just, yeah, just curious.
Because Eric's gone
The
over a
mechanism.
couple times with the new, it's like the whole state is in the crux of public works. Like all the way across the state, you go to conference and everybody's in that boat of the turnover happened and the older generation did not fully educate. It's not like you go to school for public works, really. So,
All hands on.
yeah,
I have
and that happened.
I have a question in greater response to the budget as a whole. It's my understanding that the town currently doesn't have a up-to-date MOU with the sheriff's department.
Correct.
And that was given options, right, in the sheriff's.
That was an
MOU.
ultimatum at best.
Okay, well, at least there was, so without a current MOU, there seems to be a pretty big variable in the budget. So for instance, dispatch, if you're unable to come to an agreement or whatever, you can see that number being blowing out of the water, and it's gonna affect all the departments as well. So if the town or if the county does make an offer for law enforcement services that is below the current budget of what is currently this, whatever it is, 216, at 216.50, if the county makes an offer that is below that number to contract for services, are you willing to commit to the county to providing those law enforcement services? Is that it saves the taxpayers of Ennis money to do that, to contract with the county versus having our own police department, which is gonna skyrocket because
What
that's
does
not.
Montana code say about a town having its own police department? Is it required through Montana code?
I think you have to provide law enforcement services. You can contract with county like Joliet, Belt, Cascade, Superior.
I would read that very specifically and what it actually says and what's been like kind of just what it does. I think if you're holding to a standard and actually meeting Montana code in its written form, that says something. And if we have the ability to do that, and the time, average robbery takes 5 minutes.
Okay, so
5 minutes. The county has a lot of space to cover.
well, I think
We
that's
are the
also-
hub of the county.
Well, I think that's where you work out in the MOU. What are you getting for the county's offer? Are you getting a specific response time? Are you getting, those types of services and compliance stuff? I think that's all stuff to be put out in the MOU. MOU, I will have to say, in Ennis's biggest events that I've been a part of, EPD has not responded.
To
Shooting at the
this-
sportsman's.
So the shooting over there?
Yeah. He responded to that one, yes, but there have been others that EPD has not responded to.
Okay.
And so when you talk about,
And that was kind of a big issue. That was.
We can have a whole work session on this, but I'm not playing this at 9:25
sure, no,
at
it's a
night.
big set, but that is what I'm asking you, is the people who make the budget. If it comes down to Ennis being able to get the same quality, if not better, law enforcement services for a lesser price for the taxpayers, are you committed to do that? That's my question.
Well, and I guess too, how come we don't talk about this more? Like, why aren't we better informed about what is happening? I mean, word on the street is we're getting a third officer. Is that happening? And why don't we as town commissioners know this?
We don't know that. If you know, if you would like to, again, 902-9097. 902-9097. That is the mayor's cell phone. If you have a question, I can answer it to the best of my ability. But you have to actually come in and ask the question. There are processes that aren't going to happen at every public meeting because there is no defined answer yet. There is this is what the first step has happened, and I can tell you where it could go or couldn't go from there.
Well,
But there's no definitive route.
For a greater discussion as opposed to sometimes ideas are bounced off each other.
That's
and
when
instead
you're
of just talking to you, it's actually having a conversation and deciding.
And there are legislative matters and there are executive matters. And at some point, I can't do both. I can't. Do you understand that?
Yes, this isn't about you or to upset you. I'm just curious as to, I hear it in town. I hear this scuffle. That's maybe not the right thing, but I hear it. So I'm like, why don't we know? Oh, I guess I better get down there, which I might have more time now. I don't know. But I'm not available on Monday to come in. So I guess I could call you over.
There's a phone, there's
Park
an
City.
email,
Does
there's
it
a.
worry you that there's no coverage for us? Like, I mean, John and Matt are off and now we're just exposed. Does that,
Why is Sheridan not exposed? Why is Twin Bridges not exposed? Why is,
because don't they have coverage by the county?
do they pay for that coverage?
It seems like there's a beef that we don't know about.
But there's some stuff that's not, there's no, I
Well, I
can't
think
find.
this is maybe a good time to, when you're renegotiating your MOU with the county, to say that and to be like, okay, well, what percentage,
So
of the calls
what,
are.
a Madison County resident pays into general fund, correct? For police coverage,
Yes.
correct? And so why should an Ennis resident pay twice is my question.
Well, so like, Bozeman has a little Bozeman Police Department. I think there's whenever you in a town, you do actually pay more for more services. And then that's what I'm saying, is you can get a response time from the sheriff's office that says, yes, we'll have someone on call in Ennis the whole 24 times 7, as opposed to the 2 times 40 or 2 times 46 or whatever that we're getting. That's what I'm saying. Here's a great time to negotiate with the county. If you have an expired MOU, you lay it out all on the table, and this works for our constituents, this is not working for us, and you hash out those details. And if you're able to get a competent service for less dollars, isn't that the most fiscally responsible thing you can do? And conservative thing that you can do?
Well, and as taxpayer, like town taxpayer, I can't opt out of paying county taxes, right? I mean, I can't opt out of paying town taxes either, but county taxes are never going away.
We can just get rid of another department.
Wait, why is there,
You're right, Cesar.
why are you upset? I have to ask, what is the problem? I feel there's tension. I felt it with John at the last meeting. So what's the problem?
Personal.
It's not all personal. There's a whole lot of facts all the way around.
But why aren't
And
we
when-
privy to that? Why aren't we discussing it, I guess?
Did you read the emails?
I have read it. Is that,
It's a pissing contest. I mean, it's just a pissing contest,
And
really.
just from my, as a resident, you know, we have 2 town police officers. that a
7 to
lot of
4.
times That
7 to 4.
overlap, like they were both at the open house last night. A lot of times they work, you know, we're truly trying to spend thriftfully and effectively, then why aren't they working opposite shifts? You know, and when we added the second officer, I was a part of that budget, you know, they said here and said there wouldn't be a need for another car. And almost immediately, there was another car. If they are, you know, I have several cops in my families, guess what? You don't get your own personal car. You get a fleet vehicle. When you're on shift, you get that one. I don't understand. There's more than just this budget, so, or what's documented here, there's a lot of indirect costs, so that's what I'm just asking, if there is if you get everything that you want out of a police department, response time, all of those things that you want for
much cheaper?
a lower price, it's, you know, your force is still as effective or more effective.
What happens when you fire a department?
That's just
And
a
just get rid
question.
of it. Is there a
The
lawsuit?
general budget, because that
Yeah, I
will
think there
affect all
is.
the departments. It also will affect them if you end up having to provide your own dispatch. That's going to affect every other department as well.
So can you really approve a budget without having this information going forward, not knowing what you're gonna be spending on an MOU, or not knowing what you're gonna be spending for additional dispatch?
And there's also other forms of revenue, if that happens, that I'm willing to explore.
That's already been explored, but not.
No, there's one that has not, and I will wait.
Why, again,
So
why
why the
is this
secretive
so,
again? I just-
why, yeah.
Because you're going to go enter agreements. No offense, but it's a business strategy, right? I'm going to put it all out on the table, just like the county's going to lay it all out on the table, everything that they want. You wait a little bit. I've sent out, again, email, anytime you want to make a conversation, anytime you want to sit down and have this conversation, I'm willing to have this conversation. That's the last 2 emails. At no point do I now need to go grovel for an MOU. I have offered twice, the last 2, to renegotiate.
But is there a deadline where you're like, okay, we're gonna do this by this time, or we're going to plan B? On your end, because as a business owner, I don't live in town, I don't really have a vote on anything, but my business is in town, so I'd like my business for there to be response if something happens in my business. And if something happens at my business at 9 o'clock at night, John or Matt are gonna come to my business. Now, right now, since there's no MOU, is county gonna come to my business? Or is it gonna have to be a fatality for county to come to my business? Is it gonna have to be something serious? Like, are we gonna have to wait for something serious to happen before you guys put your pettiness or whatever your differences are aside and come to an agreement?
Why is there Montana code? What is the purpose of Montana code annotated? What is the purpose of it? It's a state outline of laws, right? And very specifically in there are guidelines for a sheriff. And if you have concerns, maybe now is the time to be reading what Montana code requires of a sheriff. A county sheriff. That
So you're
elected
saying
position.
They are responsible to come if something were to happen?
Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
There's a mutual agreement, but I think
Not even mutual agreement. Montana code says this is the requirement of your job. Just like they have outlines of what I am required to do, what councils are required to do, elections, election administrators. So I'm saying, why can we not hold an elected official to the requirement that is set forth for them? Is that not okay?
So when you said there was an ultimatum, you made that comment. I don't know what that means. You got an ultimatum from who? Can you?
From Sheriff Hedges saying pay $75 an hour of a minimum of 3 hours if we respond to your territory, to Ennis. We will start billing you September 1st.
So is
And
that
I'm like,
what
no,
you have
that
to
is
do?
not okay. I do not agree to those terms because this is what Montana code says.
But if something happens tonight and they have to come, are you gonna have to pay them $75 an hour?
No, can you send her a bill for something and just say, this is what I want? You can't. There's no written agreement.
Just like there's no agreement that he has to come.
There's no agreement that
saying
he has to come, Montana code annotated. The law dictates that they do have to respond.
But is it everything?
Not ordinance, not ordinance.
Not even, well, and it just depends on the timeline and maybe the severity of the call.
Right.
So it's, like a dog might be.
And I've been.
Because I do know someone's called 911 and they were told to take it up with town the next day. So
It was
there
probably on
is
an
time.
ordinance thing.
Or
And honestly,
there is time for it
every
to
time
be
we are
response.
signing off on new ordinances, I asked myself, and I almost say it out loud, why are we making more ordinances when nobody's gonna enforce them? At night.
At night. What ordinance is specific?
Like the anti-camping and even just the panhandling one. that
Noise?
Theoretically could be at night, the noise at night, like, I just, that thought went through my head, like, why do we keep wasting our time making these if nobody's gonna reply to them?
Well, we can simply stop wasting our time because I think you've drafted a lot of resolutions and done a lot of hard work on those. You wanted panhandling, I had James do panhandling.
And it does, when you do call the cop, they do kind of, the sheriff does respond, like to a noise complaint, for instance. They would know, like, oh, Ennis does have a. I guess my
But they're
other,
not gonna
the other concern I have about the general budget overall is the amount of time, or the amount of tax dollars that the Ennis residents subsidize the school district by providing their school resource officer. I mean, I think that's money out of the general fund that you could fund the library if you ask the school for a contribution that actually recognizes the number of hours that are spent at the school. Example this evening.
That's a 3-year agreement and I 100% agree it should be revisited all paid, but.
The 3-year agreement for the resource officer?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, why do they ask for him to be there tonight?
They've had some varsity games that literally coaches have had to been.
Last year, my friend's car got hit and run,
That was homecoming.
same thing.
Did
Any
any,
time of year.
well, right, but
I'm just saying, that could be the,
yeah,
the $16,000 to ask the school.
because they're on patrol, and I have a question about that too. So when they're there, is that overtime or are they cutting that hours? Just like when he has to come to one of these meetings, he has to cut that hours, but so does everybody else. Like, I know I've asked that before, how come John doesn't come? Because then he has to cut his hours and we have to pay him, or we have to pay him overtime. Well, all the questions I had on the claims, if he were here, like I think he probably should be, then we could get those claims answered right then. We wouldn't have to wait, and I wouldn't have to make everybody pay late fees because I didn't sign up on claim. I'm just voicing some frustrations.
Okay. If you want John at the meetings, I'll have John at the meetings.
Well, but I mean, I'm just questioning this, and I also, is he making overtime right now by being at the games?
No.
Never?
Mm-mm.
What about him when him and Matt were both there?
So, in response to the sheriff said that the town officers are never on duty for special events. Now, I looked through it, looked through their schedule, and they were on for the Fly Fishing Festival, the 4th of July, the Brew Fest.
Which there was an incident at Fly Fishing Festival and county responded.
Yeah, that's right.
They're on duty for all those events. We said, what other events? Then you're down to like basically football games. I said, not every football game. If you want to do the homecoming thing, that's
Is there a
one.
matrix?
But they were both good.
Is there a matrix for the severity of calls? Like, I know, like, oh, maybe there's lots of calls during the day, but do they get ranked somehow? Like, a dead deer in my yard isn't the same as a partner family assault. So I'm just curious, when does severe crime happen? And do their schedules correspond with that? It seems as though your goal is to prevent crime or respond to crime. More serious crimes happen later. Like, so there might be more, there might be 10 deer in the yard, so it seems as though that there
Yeah,
are more
I don't-
calls.
Honestly, in years of EMS, I don't think you can standardize it, because I went to family partner assault at the night. Football day is the only day that I could say consistently every year, Super Bowl Sunday. I tried not to be on that day because it was usually that day. Don't know why, but that was it.
Well, yeah, I'm just wondering if the county.
But it was the middle of the day. I mean, that was the last shooting we've had in the last, now 10 years, we've had one at night, one a day. So I don't know how you break
Well,
that.
that's what I'm asking, like, if that information is available to county dispatch to look at it, like visually look at it and be like, okay, this is when, and if you give, that's.
I looked through 2 years. I looked through 2 years of calls that were made within Ennis's area. Time of day. How many? I have a nice little number spreadsheet that I sat when the whole sheriff's office thing started.
So the best of your research is we don't need a nighttime
The
officer.
vast majority of the calls are during the day because people are day drinkers. It's all over the gamut. I don't see
That's what
one.
I'm just wondering,
I don't see a consistent pattern.
the severity of calls.
I mean, our nature says, we all watch movies, all that stuff happens at night. But you can't actually say that based on the numbers.
So the county, like the real issue is the county is threatening to not cover Ennis
Mhm.
without a fee.
Mhm.
And so you guys are just fighting and.
I won't pay something that's not equal amongst the county.
They're
I'm
not.
sorry, I will not pay something
Have you
that
asked
is
that?
not equal amongst the county.
Have you asked that?
I asked for Twin Bridges, Sheridan, and Virginia City, called all their clerks. What is your interlocal agreement? I have all those interlocal agreements that the clerks provided.
So does Madison County, do the sheriff?
And now if it's fair all the way across the board, we're all,
Well, that's what I'm wondering with your MOU that you're renegotiating, maybe one of your negotiation points is, we'll agree to this if, Sheridan, Twin Bridges, Virginia City all pay their share as well, like it's part of a negotiation tool.
we pay the largest portion into the general fund of the 3 towns.
But we also have the most crime.
Exactly.
We're also the hub, as you said, of
Mhm.
Madison County.
On
So
the side.
this is something that you decide as mayor.
MOUs, encroachment permits, that kind of stuff, yes.
You decide. Not John, you. as
I
mayor.
decide, yes.
I thought MOU need to be, there's no need for an MOU to be approved by the council
There's nothing in,
and charter.
Mm-mm.
I think it's a pretty big subject for one person. There's a lot of bigger input. Discussion with the county and having a work session and trying to mitigate everybody's concerns. Show about that way, because obviously they have a pretty big bone to pick for something. There's obviously a stressed relationship there. So how do you come back to that is open the lines of communication.
Yeah,
Now, where does that come from?
that's by far the toughest part for me to understand, because you have 2 police departments. They're both goal oriented, very simple goals, both of them safety and, taking care of crime, I guess. And it upsets me that
it should be that way all the way across all the departments, but it's very much not felt like that even since before I started. when it was Heckler as commissioner, our very first thing, like long ago, there was a handshake kind of rule between the county and the town. You pay for the mag and we'll grade the roads. Like everything that's in that kind of box that's Ennis, but it's not really all Ennis. So Mr. Heckler and I were trying to write a written agreement that said basically the same thing. He comes back, I spend a whole bunch of time writing my first MOU. Yay, I'm so excited. And then we come back with, well, the county attorney says you're too much of a liability.
So it might be just time for that corner to be annexed into town anyway. Going through those
And
proceedings.
so, and then we were like, well, maybe if we could offer you some more, like, since now we have a plow that operates, we'll do the mag. And your road crew when it snows, everything gets snowed on. They're super busy. Maybe we could plow those adjacent things. Do you see what I mean though? Like, there is limited resources and the ability to share those resources reduces costs. But why am I getting from weed spraying to roads to sheriff?
Well,
So
that's
what-
where I say that you have to have some serious benchmarks within the contract that they have to meet. It's not a handshake deal. Oh, you do this. It is clearly defined and outlined. So, and then there's a review to say, oh, 2 years from now, you didn't do A, B, C, and D. We don't want to do this again. You know, so you have clear benchmarks that are defined. And the county addition, that just needs to be annexed in. Leona Strudwick did a whole series about it. That it was, annexed in, but then the meets and bounds doesn't close, and so it wasn't officially. For the road thing, that would at least give you some tax revenue to plow the streets. So. That's something.
But it's not always about tax revenue. Sometimes there's things that Ennis offers the county at little to no cost. And I think sometimes those partnerships are forgotten about. Like we go through daily life without thinking about.
Well, sure, and that's when in your negotiation, when you sit down together and have this collaboration and open up, be like, hey, do you realize that we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for you guys? Maybe there's been trouble there that they don't realize that those things happen. And I think that's where a greater conversation needs to happen. And be like, and that's all part of your negotiation. You feel like it was an ultimatum, but maybe it's, hey, can we get together as a community and say, because all of our residents benefit when we cooperate and collaborate together.
And then there's like, not to be mean, but this is a super high paying job with just no hours whatsoever. I'm the first one in a long time to even make a day. I financially, as a human being living in Ennis, Montana, cannot give up more than that Monday. I can't. And that puts me working. So that my family still meets its quota.
Well, absolutely. But
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I get one day off. One day. So is it so hard to say, please just come in on my Monday? I know you county guys got a lot going on, but I got one day.
So you've tried to sit down? Have you tried to do like a meeting with the commissioners and?
If you want me to schedule that, sure, I'll try that.
Okay, we can do a joint meeting with their sheriff's office, you guys, the commission, bring everybody together. Because obviously, I mean, there's history there, there's bones to be picked.
Do they have meetings on Thursdays? The
Their commission is
County
Tuesdays.
commission?
Their main meeting is on county commission, or on
Tuesdays.
Their commission meeting is on Tuesday.
So maybe
Tuesday's
they
the
could come
middle
to
of the
one of
day.
our meetings or one of their
Or you
meetings.
can just
Yeah.
have a special meeting.
Not in the evenings, not when you can watch it. No, it's Tuesday in the middle of the day.
Actually, that's kind of a question too. Has the mayor position grown to something that is
That's part of
more
the
full-time?
next, what? That's
Budget
next year.
items, yeah.
No, that's next.
It's a huge time.
It's you would have to vote for the next person, which is what it is. But I don't think that would be a smart plan until you finish local government review at the next plan.
Because then you can local government you, because maybe it's not a mayor.
Is it like a
It's a
town
city
manager?
planner.
It's a city manager.
Yeah.
Or a county, or, a town executive
Yeah.
position. It's then a paid position that takes care of all of these little details.
Right. But the
Does all the
taxpayers,
homework and whatever, so
town
that's.
residents vote on that, right?
So
You have to
there's
go through a
local
review of it.
government review. How often does that happen?
It's gonna happen next year. So
So
we
yeah,
started
we want
as
to
part of,
say-
even in your general fund budget, we knew that we weren't gonna have a general election at this point because of the seating and how it was. But we do have to do some of the preliminary stuff for preparing for local government review. So instead of using the election funds there that you see that are still there, that's why those are still there in general election, because they are for local government review.
And there's still one vacancy, correct?
Yes. So next meeting, we do resolution of appointment, canceling the general election. These
But the
two,
local government review is what was, and I think the last time it was done.
it's done every decade.
Yeah, but the last time it was done, it feels as though part of that review should also be an interview with the town council, with the mayor.
You have the committee and the training
Yeah, but
process for that. There's
that didn't
three.
happen. And so,
You can, but the town first has to vote on whether or not they want to do it or if they want to just bypass
yeah,
it.
and then they appoint their people, but it feels as though part of that process should be interviewing.
Well, I
This is
see
the
how
main
much you
position.
do.
Right, because people don't
And
know
that's
the
why I got to
definitions of
thinking
it.
of it. I was like, maybe we need a mayor that's in full-time or a town manager. That's, or whatever it is.
And I mean, it's cool. If you go to the trainings, meet them. Anaconda went that way recently. Go talk to him where they went from mayor to city manager. And it's not just how much he does, but the financials and how much he can save a town with the efficiency of being able to constant fill gap. Like he goes out and mows, sometimes he goes out and does. So if they're shorthanded and it reduces overtime, there's lots of cool things.
But feasibly, could we afford that without the resort tax?
There's give and take in everything. I don't know. Anaconda doesn't have a resort tax, but they're a lot bigger than us.
Yeah, it's a limit. You can only have, was it 5,500 residents or not to even.
5,000.
5,000, so, yeah. So.
So, budget, before public hearing, if there's any changes we need to make.
Will you let us know the few things we have circled?
And I'll check your notes against mine. Yeah, those couple of things.
Yeah.
I just
So-
said one is gonna be too low.
Look
Okay.
over
And then
over the
200
weekend.
It was 300.
Shoot me anything where you're like, if we could take
On that.
any questions, any clarifications, if you think something doesn't need to be there, like call me at midnight. I don't care right now. Budget's the last bit of it. I'll get answers for you. But anything, I want to be able to get your final changes done by the end of Monday so that we can have the new budget out, the final budget for public hearing. So any changes other than what we've already noted, let me know.
And
Go
that's
back through it.
next-
You can go back through it 26 times and find
next
something
Thursday.
different every time. And then you start in March and start changing them constantly. Like, I don't know how many budget reports I've actually seen since the beginning of March.
Yeah, could we start this earlier next time?
Do you remember in May when I said last call for budget items? Because I was like, dear God, I said last call for budget items because I wanted preliminary and
But
What does that mean to me,
seat,
though?
it's sitting in that seat, it's like, until you have it all together, it's kind of hard to, it's like looking at it as a landscape. You can put a wish list together, but until you see those other things. it
Well, and how
all
do- I
goes
mean-
Together, but still, like, they should be getting a budget report monthly before they sign.
With the claims, right, to cross check,
you
yeah.
put that on the list of things to do.
Well, Black Mountain Software should be able to do it. You pay
It does it.
$13,000 a year for it.
Did you add all those up?
No.
It does. And I have that in my mind. Now,
I
to
don't
make
know
sure
why.
that that's printed every month for the meetings too. In my note.
But right
And aren't the claims supposed to be posted
when you guys adopt.
or made public?
Uh-huh.
As soon as you adopt it, we can
They
do
are.
it.
Right now, it's useless because you don't have it adopted.
Right,
Right, well, so do you mean that us, like, do anything you want me to add to the budget? Well, I don't, is that the question for me? Oh, I forgot about my porta potties.
Denied.
But I don't.
Resort tax education.
I mean, like if I have a project that I want to grab.
No, I'm saying, like, if there's something that in there that you see that you're like, well, can we move some of that? Do we need to? That's the thing about this that is very hard. It says that I'm supposed to propose a budget to you. I'm not telling you that this is the town budget. I'm saying this is what I proposed. You can look through it. If you think that there's something that is completely out of line, let me know before Monday so that I can get it changed.
We're in the 11th hour.
But yeah, we're in the 11th hour.
Just going in and changing.
It's not.
Is that
it takes-
normal? Is this a normal thing that we're always at the 11th hour?
Right, and then it just gets passed.
Is that normal with all
No,
towns?
no.
Is that a normal thing with budget? We get the 11th hour and then we just gotta approve it?
Well, we didn't use that in legal or whatever. We can now move that to a line item. Whatever. And if
what was my
for
other
some
question?
reason something happened.
Nikki, are we done?
Yes, let's call it.
I move to adjourn.
Can you, add the claims back into the budget packet? I know they were done through March this year, but then they stopped being added, so. And whatever report gets provided with that.
Expenditure and revenue, or do you want just expenditure? I mean, it doesn't really. Usually at claims, you look at expenditure, but you can do revenue.
And then it would be for the month before anyway, because the claims aren't approved, but it'd be nice to have it in there.
Okay, let's adjourn. But yeah, it takes a lot of time for her to move it in Black Mountain. It's not like one click, it's all magic.
Well, I've got to do it in Black Mountain, I've got to do it in the state form as well.
So, yeah, so that's what I'm saying, Monday's kind of, please let us know. Email us. That is the second time I've heard that today, and that's the funny reason. Izzy wore something, and I was like, "Are you sure you want to wear heels?" She's like, "Barbie always wore heels," and I'm like,
That's never touched the ground either.
I was like, "Ow!" And then she walks home, and I'm like, "Those are what you wore." She's like, "Do you know how painful it is to wear these all day?" I'm like, "I tried to warn you."
Ginger, you guys gonna eat this in the office tomorrow? No. Yeah, she doesn't want to take the food. No, you
No, in the mountains.
No.
Oh, but
That's okay.
no, I think you kind of started out differently, but maybe you.
We'll be gone.
Now, Greg was here.
Oh, is he not here?
He was 10 days out, home for 3. But he's got a good job for 16. So he won't be home for. His Legos guy made the news though. No, so underneath each family person has a Lego person. And when we're apart, our Lego people have adventures. And Carl was on the news. Oh. Carl, wherever they were at the Anvil fire, one night. Facebook, yeah. And so the newspaper states live. And the Lego guy as a shadow.
Nikki, I don't know if this is, I think it's pretty level. Maybe I should put these dishes in the bag.
And I think I'll probably.
Have a beverage.
Yeah, but I thought it's different.
Yeah.
We'll get that tomorrow, leave it.
I had to get myself a water purifier because my water, I went to 4 coffee pots and 3. It's ridiculous. Curious.
Oh, I'm a snotty person. I have a patience. Oh, I have a Cuisinart. I love mine.
I had one too and it died too.
I have my Cuisinart. My little clean, my little filter, my freshly ground beans, smell as you grind them. Yeah, I love it.
I don't have that much patience. I want to hit the button and be drinking my
Well,
coffee.
okay, I'll tell you my other secret too. I have one of the like just water pot things, where you make hot water.
Oh, yeah.
And I have cafe Stale, which is really neat. They just instant coffee. So I'm like,